or so.
Bro, Mangoose hated that too. And we're live.
Love you, Mangoose.
Yes, the one and only Mangoose. We miss you, homie. But yeah, none of us like reading. So, what's up, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of the Predcast. How's everybody doing? Hope you guys are good. We got a good patch, and I'm gonna use the word good specifically because I still got mixed feelings on it, to be honest with you. We'll get into that. Yeah. We'll get into it. But before we actually get deeper into the conversation, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. Pinzo, if you could lead it, then Krashy, then Bearded, then myself. Tell people a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What's up with your life?
What is up, guys? My name is Pinzo. Back with another Predcast today. I just got done with like an 8-hour stream from the patch. It's pretty cool. There are definitely some things I'm a little sus on, but overall, I think it's pretty good. You guys can catch me twitch.tv Pinzo, youtube.com/Pinzo, that kind of stuff. But no, we vibing on Pred. I'm ready, dude. I love doing Predcast. I get to actually like not play the game for 5 minutes and talk about it, dude. I'm here for
gonna
it.
be on for 8 hours.
Very cool.
Appreciate you being here,
nice.
Go ahead, Krashy.
I'm actually excited to talk about it because I did not play for 8 hours. I played for like a few, so that's good. But yeah, Krashy, jungle dude. I make videos. Y'all already know. I'll just be hanging out, talking a lot of shit. Fun stuff.
All right.
Spicy.
What's going on, everybody? Inside the people reading your Michigan Wonder, and I am excited to talk to you about this good patch that I'm actually think it's going to be better than good. I think he's just a little butthurt because some of his items aren't as good as they used to be. So now he wants to figure out what the other ones are. But other than that, I think we're going to have a good time. And I'm excited to get into this because I've been having a blast in solo lane as an ADC main. Imagine that. So we'll talk more about that later, though. Windu?
I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm proud of you, bro. Like, as somebody that literally only did carry, ride or die, and you're actually experimenting with the lanes, GG to you. But what's up, guys?
Not ride or die. I just always got it. Like people didn't like. I would like look at it, like, yep, I got it. Like, and then the 50-50 chance, I won that 90% of the time. So
he said 50% of the time, I won 100% of the time. Okay. Oh, but what's up, guys? I'm Windu, also known as Windu the Mace. I do MOBA content, but honestly, as of lately, I pretty much only do Predecessor content. I really want to get a little bit back into racing, though. I got a buddy of mine that actually got a racing rig, so I might be getting into that a little bit more. But this is the Predcast, where we specifically talk about Predecessor, even though we do bring up other MOBAs as comparison here and there. We try to keep it as Predecessor-oriented as possible. Now, I'm gonna just preface this. I got maybe 2 matches in and spend a little bit of time in practice mode. That's my experience so far. I'm definitely not 8 hours deep into that shit. But so far from what I've seen, at least trying out a couple combos here and there, I almost like carries less now. That's what I'm gonna start it off with. This motherfucker's like good.
I hate carries.
I only got to play 2 matches, and I didn't have a good experience actually. I don't know if it was something like shaders being worked on or something that, like, when I loaded in my first game, I went right into PvP. And I picked Murdock because that's my boy. I'm like, all right, let's go see what these items look like. And I go to play, and as soon as I get in the lane, I'm dropping down to 1 FPS. And then I'm literally trying to, I'm like stuck. I'm frozen on screen trying to back up. And then next thing you know, it's not frozen anymore. And I got 1 hit, and then the fucking Revenant hits me, and I died. And I'm like, so I like message it. I hit go into chat. I'm like, hey guys, this lag is like, I can't do anything about this. Like, I'm lagging like crazy. And then my Richter, my support says you DC'd. I'm like, no, I'm here. I'm not. I didn't DC. I'm literally just a lag. And I tried to continue in the game, and our countess is like, no, we win this. I was 0-6. The Revenant was 10-0 and no assist. I was 0-6-0. And I couldn't do it with the lag. Anytime I go to a team fight, it was horrible lag. And I'm like, we just need to FF get me out. And oh no, I'm fed. I have so much farm. I'm like, okay. And then they got melted by the Revenant. I'm like, well, your farm didn't do much there, did it? So we ended up finally forfeiting 28 minutes later. But it's like,
Did it
I couldn't do anything.
Did the performance still happen in the second game though?
So I went in the second game. I went and I did a bot match because I wanted to make sure. I was like, let's see what it was. Bot match ran smooth. I went into another PvP game. These are the 3 games I was able to play on this patch. I went into another PvP game, and this one, it was better, but I'm still getting some hitches. So, but it was playable. I was able to play the whole match, but it still was getting some hitches for sure.
Interesting. No performance stuff for me, luckily.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed actually.
Have y'all gotten a chance to play as carry? No.
I played one game as carry, but I don't like. I mean, okay. So whenever I started playing this game, no, it's not even that. It's like so I had to make a choice, right? Like when I came into the game, I was like, okay, do I want to be content creator guy that plays everything and shows everything, which is like admittedly harder to do because you have to get good at everything and know everything. And I also wasn't sure if I was playing on a team whenever I first started, and I was like, or do I want to be the jungle guy? And so it's like for me, I was like, okay, I want to be one of the jungle guys. Like I want to be like when people watch my videos, it's like you're probably watching jungle 90% of the time, and so I just like it's also like really like stress free for me because like this patch comes up and I'm like I don't have to think about any of that shit. Like I don't care about the carry items. I care about the ones that I would build in jungle. I care about the ones that might be broken because like I could maybe take advantage of them, and then I'll like kind of pay attention. So if I somebody 50-50s me for jungle and I get thrown on carry, then I can kind of like I can be decent. But yeah, so that's like what my experience with the patch has been. Is like I'm looking at all the jungle adjacent changes, the bruiser changes. I look at Sky Splitter, I'm like, okay, I see you. I'm looking at Kingsbane, I'm like, all right, what's going on here? Like I'm looking at all that stuff, but like the carry stuff, like I'm not really engaged with.
So wasn't it Sky Splitter? That's the one that you were hurting on. Like that's the one that you like been asking for a mutilator change in a sense because mutilator got hit and then that became the new mutilator.
Yeah, okay. They did it. I think from my POV, because again, my perspective is like Sky Splitter is just too good on bruisers. I think they did probably the best thing you could do with it. They actually gave the burst damage to it kind of like more damage. Like it does less per hit, but it has like that 4th auto spike. And it has no sustain. So like if you don't have any lifesteal, it doesn't have the rend healing passive. So if you put that on Chimera, which you can, and it'll shred, you're giving up the sustain. So it's like I'm still like on the fence about whether or not I want to build Mutilator or Sky Splitter because Sky Splitter is going to shred on Chimera. You're gonna just rip through people, but you're not.
He's already got some sustain in his kit anyway. Yeah. So I mean, so that would be a good, if you're looking more of a spike. Definitely
it's there. Just it's a little like I'm like, do I really want to invest in that item and like not get stronger? Like it's kind of like it's risking it. Like you got to basically shred through them or you're dead kind of thing. So I'm on the fence about whether or not I'm going to build it, but I think they hit it the way that I was hoping they would. Okay, so that's good.
So Pinzo, you being a mid main or I know you fill everywhere, you play. I
play everything.
I know you play everything, but I just know you as a mid player. I guess maybe that's because that's what we do when we play. We do the Creators Unite and stuff. You just play mid, right? That's just
when we
how
first started gaming with him. That was his main. Yeah.
Right. In this patch, it seems a lot of these mid, characters are kind of got some nerfs in Sky, or it's almost everything got buffed around them. Anyways, how does it feel there? Have you played? I'm assuming you played mid today with the.
I played some mid. I really don't think that any of the mid changes dumpster any characters. I think that it pretty much brings like the top two characters in my opinion. It brings them in line a little bit with the rest of the mids. The only character I think actually like got a net buff out of this patch is Gideon. I actually think is the one who got a buff out of this.
Because Megacosm is much.
Well, no, it's not even that. Like, yes, that, but Megacosm got buffed on mages that don't have tick abilities. It got buffed on like Gideon right-click Q does more damage now than it did before. Whereas the mages like Gadget and Faye that abused Megacosm on objectives got a little bit worse.
Gotcha.
So I think Gideon comes out on top. He's still number 1 in my opinion, but like Howitzer gets a little better. I think Countess gets a little better. The other mages I think are still okay.
Okay. All right.
I think it just balanced mid more than anything else. I think they're gonna look weak compared to carries for about the first 3 days of the patch, but I think they're balanced.
That's what Intar says in chat. Mages work in their intended, but of course that's going to make the ADCs feel oppressive. So
yeah,
but we'll see. We will see. All right, Wendy, sorry, you were going to say something, but I cut you off.
Oh, no, you're chilling. I was just going to say, how do you guys feel that we now have 4 different items that give an on-hit effect on the 4th hit specifically? Have you guys tried that shit yet? Just like try stacking all 4 of them bitches?
What is it? It's lightning. It's lightning hawk. It's
Stormbreaker, Sky Splitter, Lightning Hawk,
Splitter.
and tripping. I'm
so
tripping.
What do? You slow them, zap them, shred their HP, and then you do something else to them all in the 4th hit. I mean, I'm sure it's.
What if you miss the 4th shot?
Tragic.
What if you miss it?
It goes half your DPS.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. There's 3.
It's not like your 4th.
Yeah, it's not 4th.
It's your 4th hit. So it's like you'll hit it even if it's your 5th shot.
You're slick with it. Make that 4th hit though your first engage while you're playing against minions. Just kind of farm that shit and then start with your 4th one. Just don't do that shit with Revenant because you're kind of throwing. But I could see myself saying that shit and then somebody tries it. And they're like, yo, when you don't know what the fuck he's talking about, that shit did not work on Revenant, bro.
I'm trying to find that other item while you guys are talking. See what the 4th one is.
I think it's only just 3. I might be tripping.
Just
I might be
3,
tripping
okay.
on that one. But I mean, it used to be 2. Now it's 3. And regardless, we got so many on-hit effects. Like I don't know if anybody might realistically try.
What do you think? What do you think's the best one so far, from what you've seen?
I think Kingsbane. From what I've seen and tried.
You think?
Yeah, because you get the attack speed, you get the power, you get the on-hit effect, but then you also get regen, and then you get regen based off of the damage that you do on top of the normal 5 Omnivamp that you'd get. So, like, for early, the fact that you get power, attack speed, sustain, and an on-hit effect, all for 3K, 3,300?
Yeah.
Pretty fucking nuts as a first starter item, bro.
That's the one I was when I tested the I went into bot matches. I built Kingsbane and I did kind of feel like I was I went into I was getting low, but I was up towards the end hit, but I just kept fighting everything, and I felt like I was definitely healing pretty quick because of that extra health you're getting off of that.
Well, the crest not having
that's bot matches, so that's different.
The crest not having crit chance anymore on the marksman definitely changed a lot, and a lot of these crit items now have 25% too. So like I when I thought about it, I was like, okay, these on hit are gonna be crazy and everything, but when you're actually in the game, it's just like, yo, I kind of miss that crit, bro. Like that power spike, I'm having to wait a little bit longer just to kind of chunk. I'm like, okay, so I get it. I'm not happy with it, but I get it by all means. And I don't know. It's just it felt weird for me. I think it's just more of an acclimation issue. Like I might just have to get used to it. But that's why I'm like, it's good. Not like, oh my god, but it's good. So I understand.
The problem with carries before is that like their stats, they just linearly went up. Like everything went up. And so now you have like powers kind of linearly going up, but your like attack speed will go up, and then it'll maybe plummet off as you buy like another item, because then you get something else, and so then your crit goes up, and so you have like more of this like some things are spiking while other things aren't, and that is so important because carries just felt like perpetually strong at all stages of the game, and they're still late game strong, right? It's not like they got like worse or anything.
I think they got stronger.
They may be. I don't even have a read on that yet, but it's like this just feels like I just am like, thank you. Like it's not stupid. It's also not boring because it just feels like there's a ton of options, which I'm sure it's going to niche down, right? People are going to figure out like a holy shit, this is going to be nuts. But it's going to niche down. But right now it feels like there's a lot of options, and cool. I like it.
I think that's probably the most fun about it. The fact that people are back in that early grind, like we got to figure out what fucking items are meta, bro. You see motherfuckers on here that haven't been on here in like a week. It's like, yo, hey, all right, I got to try this item. Fuck, okay, that didn't work. Next game, I got to try this item. And, you know, because who uses practice mode? Everybody always try experiments in fucking PvP, and then they complain.
There's a practice mode?
Really good. Check it out.
Practice mode.
But
you have those people coming back and trying all the new stuff. I think they almost have kind of an advantage. Those people that kind of like, hey, I forgot what's this item? What's my build order or whatever? Like, you can come in, it's completely fresh. You got me that's coming in. I've been sitting here grinding Grux solo lane, and I know my build that I want. So I'm building my build, and I'm like, all right. So now I go into this one. I'm like, I go to click Bonesaw. I'm like, this looks different. Like, oh, is this what I want? Is this my first item I want to build first? I don't know. I'm like, I'm just gonna go with it right now. We're just gonna keep going. I don't know. I'm gonna build my same build and see how I do. If it's different, if it's normal or what. Like, I'm just gonna go with this and see what happens.
I'm building Bonesaw and support right now.
Ooh, okay.
Fuck.
Why?
So here's the reasoning. Okay, they added like roughly I'm rounding here, okay, but roughly like 1 million items that shred tanks in this patch. Okay.
I'm rounding.
I'm rounding.
Good thing you're being conservative.
Rough estimate. But they added so many items that shred tanks. Like, my tank build right now is like Raiment of Renewal, Warden's Faith, Void Helm, Bone Saw, and I don't know, something else that gives 500 health. Like, I'm ending the game with like 5k HP because that's the only way you can stay alive. Like, you just get one defense item and then build full health.
You think it's that bad?
I do. I think tanks suck.
I don't know. I don't feel that way. But there's like, I don't know. I need to at some point actually find out what the like armor to effective HP like.
I mean, I'll give you the equation.
Well, there's so what's shredding armor so much that like is making you feel like it's not worth buying it?
The fact that
the million items that
Breach
they have?
and Demolisher stack. Those percent pen passive stack.
What?
So, yeah, 100% tested it.
Oh,
they might not stack. They might not stack linearly. It might not be 50% pen, but they're different names. They stack.
They are different names. One's bore and one's puncture.
Yeah, they stack. I don't know if it's linear. It might not be 50% penetration, but it's enough to where I don't want to like.
You said
I'm gonna die if I try to build full defense. Plus, the breach does damage to you if you have more physical defense. It does damage based on your physical defense. So like if I build full tank and someone builds breach, I'm screwed. So I'm just building as much. Like, to put this in perspective, I was playing a game last night, okay, and I had a Sevarog full defense Sevarog 1v5 my team. Quite literally 1v5 my team, killed everyone, got like literally a pentakill 1v5. Then this morning I had a Sevarog in my game who was like normal build, you know, like Tainted Guard, Crystalline, you know, Fire Blossom, like normal kind of solo lane build, and was just getting farmed by the enemy carry. Cannot stand in front of that person anymore. Like, the way that you could just sit there and kind of face tank last patch is not possible. Like, I think you're going to see solo laners building damage this patch. That's my prediction.
Really? You think it's just going to go straight down to burst? Like, hey, the only way to kill them?
Well, I think you'll see, like, solo laners with 1 defense item, 2 defense items, like kind of like bruiser hybrid solo laners, because it's the only way that you're going to kill a carry before they kill you, is if you have damage. That's my guess. Again, day 1 of patch, okay? So,
I mean, fair. We still gotta experiment a bit. I mean,
I made a comment like that on our last Predcast YouTube comment. I was talking about how, like, people in the comments are talking about they need the time to kill needs to be increased. Like, right now the time to kill is too low. Like, it's fights are really quick, and this, I think, is going to make that a bigger issue. And with that being a bigger issue, I hope that then it kind of becomes something that, hey, we need to look at this, and then our time to kill is going to get increased. That's what we wanted. Mangoose has been saying from the fourth on FTM that's what he's been wanting for a while. Like, that's the biggest issue he's had with Pred, is the time to kill is way too fast. And I think this is going to make that an issue, and you're going to see that. And then, okay, with the data points, they're going to go in and finally change it. That's what I'm hoping we're going to see.
It is kind of wild to change this many items. at the same time. Especially since we got so used to like 1 or 2 items, you know, 1 or 2 heroes, etc. I'm a bit flustered. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was the best move.
I mean, when I've been playing with Grux anyways, I don't build tank anyways. I've been building straight.
He said DPS.
I've been building ADC Grux anyways. In a sense, like I've been just going to town with the items. Bonesaw, Augmentation, Tainted Blade, and Ashbringer are like my first 4 items I'm buying on Grux. Like I'm not building tank anywhere. So like, and with those, I've been doing pretty well with them. Now that I learned how to play solo lane. My biggest thing was finding out with solo lane that you don't play like an ADC and you try to freeze the lane. Like you literally just bully the shit out of your solo laner. So I'm like, oh, that's a completely different play style. Like I'm like, oh, this is different. Let's try this. And I've been having fun with it. So
yeah, I don't know, man. I'll be honest. I'm a little bit on the I feel like outside of the conversation here, because again, I only had like 2 matches and I experimented a little bit. I'm gonna resort to you guys. Like, have you guys, or I guess mainly Pinzo, since Pinzo's kind of been no lifing for the last 8 hours.
I have.
Have you sat there and like, you know, tried out some of these different crests and stuff like that, and you know, like different characters?
Yeah, I've tried a lot of stuff today.
What stands out to you right now?
Ortus, incredibly broken. Like probably the new best crest in the game.
Oh, okay.
Ortus is the old assassin crest that now is a snowball effect. So you activate it, it gives you movement speed and 10% bonus power. And then if you kill someone while it's active, you gain 3 power and permanently, and it refreshes the duration, which is the broken part. That on carries makes them too fast. You can't get away. You can't do anything. The snowball effect is very, very strong. That crest on Fang Mao is, if you come, okay, hear me out. I know Krashy's about to start, but if you have Painweaver, Ortus, and Fang Mao shield, I had a game where I was playing. I had a Narbash on my team, and I had those 3 items. All of those give you movement speed now. It was faster. Is the fastest I've ever moved in this game. It was in like to the point where someone blinked away from me and I ran them down in like 3 seconds. I caught up to them.
So it's the Sonic build you're saying? Yeah,
it's insane. It's crazy. I don't think it's necessarily very, very good. I think Painweaver is actually bad this patch, but I do think that Ortus needs looked at. It has 10 flat pen. It has 15 haste.
Yeah, Ortus seems good. I've only built it on Assassin so far because I don't really play carries. I think my overall thoughts with the patch is like, no, I don't. I just don't like. I just pick my role and I play it. Like I have like 700 hours on the game, and probably like 650 of them are on jungle. So it's like I don't know. I just spread out a little bit. I
mean, you use a lot of AD heroes though. Like a lot of these items, you could probably get away with slipping in there.
So here's this is where it's going to come down to like build philosophy then too, because I can't in my right mind ever put more than maybe 2 damage items on a bruiser. Like, and if I do slip a 3rd one in there, I'm starting to do it more and more. It's like the bruiser items that have armor and have some form of utility. So like right now, my Chimera build for now, until I change it, and this is like similar with most of the bruisers I play, is like Mutilator to Ashbringer. Well, this is actually very specific to Chimera. I'm going Muti to Ashbringer, and then I'm probably going to slot in a Draconum, and then Legacy, and then a tank item. Now, the only reason I'm slotting Legacy is because like new Legacy is probably busted as shit. Just because 5 seconds of CC immunity is like crazy, and I'm already gonna have 3 cleanses because I picked Brutallax, so I'm gonna have like 2 cleanses that I can use on like on command, and then I'm gonna have like 1 that auto pops, and then I'm gonna build like a tank item 5th. So, but in general, like build philosophy for me on like bruisers is that like I usually will just do 2 damage items, then go trip like 3 tank items, and it's like I'm bulky enough to stay in the fight, and the damage that I'm doing is like good enough that I'm like sticking on them and like helping enable the rest of my team to help me get kills or to get kills. It's like I'm trying to stay within a role. With all these carry items, like it's really enticing to think about like, oh, well, I can run Sky Splitter and Ashbringer and Absolution and like all of I want to run all of them, but it's like I can't really run them all. So I think the bruiser items have my attention a little bit more than the carry items, and the implications of the patch are more leaning on carries themselves. And I just like, I'm not the person that's going to figure that out. Like, I know in like a week or two, I'll be looking at carry players and I'll like be seeing the dumb broken shit they found. And then I'll have like an opinion. For now, I feel like the patch feels good to me, but I don't know what the implications of it are yet. Like I need a lot more time with it before I can say, oh, that was a good patch or this was a bad patch. It just feels like a big shakeup, and I'm just not sure where I sit on it yet.
Yeah, no, and that's actually a good term to say. That's that shake-up, right? You shake it up, and then you got to let it sit. And once you let it sit, we got to see where everything kind of falls and how it settles, and see what it's like from there. This is what that style of a patch. It's not like a patch where, hey, here's the new hero, and we can play a few matches of the new hero and just know right away how we feel about this patch, right? This is a huge patch. A lot of things were touched, and we're not. You can't go into a match and use every item that has been touched in one match. You got to play a bunch of these matches to be able to see what these different combos with these items and see how they work together and what's going on. Like with Pinzo finding out that the two percent pens are working together, like they stack on top of each other. Like that's something we got to work and find that out and see how we feel about the patch in that situation. And that's going to be when the dust settles, how we feel about it. So we can definitely come back and talk next week and really discuss how we feel about it, after having a whole week of playing on it. I'm excited for it though, because again, we talked about how it's bringing people back, to try it out. Like I think it's enough of a big enough of a meta shift that we're like, okay, this is kind of like, it just kind of revitalizes the community. Like, okay, it's something new. Let's try it. And it's not just the same, oh, hey, I'm just going to build my same 5 things I've been building, and we're just going to keep running down the lane and doing the same thing over and over again. It changes it up for sure.
I mean, we're going to get back to that point, I think. But that's why, like, that, though. It's always fun when like I'll play I'll come from like a different game and like I'll have problems with developers' patch cycles because like some devs won't patch for like months, like 2 months or something. And I'm sitting there thinking like, dude, like y'all don't realize, like devs that don't patch more frequently don't realize that like making content for a game doesn't have to be something like new and original or that they're adding into the game. Like changing something just for the sake of changing something like is content, because it like gives everybody the time window where they have to like rediscover and like check everything out again. So doing a shakeup like this every now and then is like necessary anyways, because let's say they could hypothetically land perfect 100% item balance. It would get so boring. We would get so bored so fast. So like this shakeup is good. I see it as like a positive thing no matter what. There will always be an outlier, right? Like there's going to be some dumb combination or some item that is just truly busted as shit, and we'll be bitching about it in like a week. So far, nothing like that has stood out to me. So I think overall I'm like happy with it, but I'm just, like I said, I'm like happy with it, scratching my head a little bit still at the moment. So.
That's basically what it comes down to, man. And you bring up a great point. Little changes like this that almost revamp this whole content creation wave. Because like now, bro, all day I've been seeing build videos posted all over. It's like, yo, check this one out, check this one out. That's just dope to see, by all means. But how often do you guys think that something like this should happen? Since we are on that subject, and you mentioned that it's almost essential. You talking about like per season?
A big shake, like a really, really big shakeup, probably per season. But it depends, because like, a current season right now is like 3 months. That's like a long time. I think more of like ranked season, and I don't know what their philosophy on ranked is going to be. So I would say like between a 1 to 3 month time period where they do like really, really big item shakeups, because you need to give players time to figure things out so they can master it and get good at it. But you don't want to give them too much time where they figure it out, they master it, they sit on it for 6 months and the game gets boring. So it's weird. I think that's going to coincide a lot with whatever their philosophy on like ranked seasons are like, when that all comes in the future.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be something that. Oh, go ahead, Pizzo.
I was going to say that if they do it quicker than like 3 months, in my opinion, it's too fast. You're gonna drive like casual players away. They're gonna be like, I just figured out that last patch.
Yeah.
Why is there a giant patch now? Versus like obviously I sit here and play the game for 10 hours a day, bro. I can figure it out. I've got the time to figure it out. But like to someone who gets home from their 9 to 5 and plays for 2 hours, they're going to be frustrated that they can't like actually get a read on the meta.
As soon as they figure out the answers of life, they change the questions.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah,
So, I think for that correct answer, though, like we would have to wait until we literally get all of the Paragon IP stuff is out. Once that's all pushed out, and we're now working on their own IP, their own heroes. Like that's we guaranteed every Paragon hero is in the game now, and we're that because I think that is enough to change up the meta. Like you bring in a new hero that's like right now with it being like, well, not right now. I have to play the game a little more to see if it's like that. But like before this patch, there was a CC meta for sure, right? So bringing in a character like Terra would have changed that. An anti CC hero would help change that meta up a little bit. So that would be enough. That'd be enough of a shakeup, in my opinion. So I would have to say, like these bringing heroes out, and they want to bring a hero out. What we're looking at, like once a month, we're getting a hero. So that right there, you're changing these metas up like that quick. So to get that perfect answer we want, we're gonna have to wait until that Paragon IP is out completely, and then we're working on our own meta IP.
I wonder how often they plan to release an original in between the original, like the OG Paragon heroes.
Wasn't it? I might be making this up, but didn't they say that they were going to release an original character each season?
That would be crazy.
That's what I was under.
Did I make that up?
I don't
remember that,
so.
but if so,
it could have been a fever dream. Like I might have literally dreamed that, but
I think we've had similar fever dreams then, because I think I remember something along those lines as well. Like that's what we're. It's not guaranteed like that, but that's they want something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. Like they may have said somewhere that's more of what they're planning on doing, but they're not going to confirm it for us yet.
That's
okay.
fair.
So my ignorance is going to shine here, and I love it because this is what I bring to the table. I don't know these damn heroes. Someone in one of my streams recently said that when they add phase, that's all the supports. Is that true? Like all the supports from Paragon are in the game now?
When they add who?
Once they add phase and
phase. Okay.
Are there any missing supports from Paragon?
I would have to go back and look.
I think Paragon was quite flexible with what you could play.
Because you had here's the thing: you had the traditional supports, and then you had people that ran phase support, Bellica support, etc. So
I guess in that context, we're probably looking at like traditional supports, like classified support.
Yeah, traditional supports. Yeah, basically, because you had Muriel, Narbash, Richter, Steel, phase.
Okay. Because that means that once phase in the game, they don't have an original, like an actual support to add from Paragon. They'll have to make one. You know what I mean? So that's kind of interesting to me. Now I will say, I do remember me and Feppy, we got we were after scrims one day, we were bored and we were watching old Paragon tournaments. And we were watching Blood Mortius's team and we I don't know, some circuit, and one of the teams was playing Zinc support. That was interesting. Because she's an offlaner, I guess. So stuff like that, obviously if that stuff does exist, I don't know. Yeah, because you could do that. But I do find that to be interesting because as far as the support actual class goes, they'll have to make originals if they want to add more.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Natty's saying in the chat, it really comes down to the fact that depending on the meta or the switch ups that we were just talking about, it might make a random character kind of viable as support now, right? But you bring up a good point. What if they literally next season they have 5 Paragon heroes, and then their one hero is the support because of that right there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like that would kind of make sense. Be like, hey, we gave you an original carry, and we'll give you an original support. And Natty brought it up in the chat earlier. So he was mentioning that they kind of were alluding to the fact that they just did a carry change, a big carry switch up. So then they might do a mage switch up, a tank switch up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Keep it almost on rotation per class of items, I suppose.
Well, so originally, with the carry items, a big issue I had, I think it's so funny. If we were to go back when I first probably came on Predcast, I think it was like one of the first things I said like about the game that I had like an issue with was like, I was like, dude, these items are bloated. I was like, they do everything. And so I think I was speaking pretty like generally, but really it was like mostly carry items. And now I look at a lot of the items and there's still a little bit of bloat, but it doesn't really feel like I can't pick like a classification of items that I feel like just does everything. Like there are tank items that, you know, they're like they have niches. Like some of them are low health tank items that have like really cool passives. Some of them are lower health items that have really high armor on them. Like Crystalline Curious, for example, is like got like a fuck ton of armor on it. And then you know, you'll have, so like Crystalline Curious will have like 70 armor, but I think Unbroken Will has like 35 armor. So they're very, very different in what they do, even though they're covering the classification of being a tank item that brings health and armor to the table with a passive or passives. So I don't know. And you know, obviously y'all can chime in. I don't know that other classes like need big, huge shakeups rather than just like touching up an item here and there whenever I feel like it's necessary. The carry roll, that it like needed it. I think like those items were just so stupid, like all of them. Yeah. And the funny thing about the carry roll was some of those items were so damn good that others were like completely useless. Like an item like Breach was like a Muriel specific counter item, and even then it was like hard to get value out of. So like now I feel like the hard thing about being a carry player is like you have so much options, and it's like, how do you pick? How, like literally, like how are you going to go into a game and be like, damn, I need to build like 7 or 8 different items, and I got, you know, 5 slots to do it. So
I think now, before the way it used to be, like you said, it was bloated, right? So as a carry, I could go in and that's the way I would, some of my games I'd go in like, all right, what do I want? I would literally just pick 2 things on the side and click on them, and I'm just going to build what's in this. And I would pick attack speed crit, and that's what I'm going to build, an attack speed crit build. That's what I would do. Or I would do life steal crit build. You know, I'll do attack speed lifesteal, you know, build whatever. I would just pick 2 of those things and I would just build those items, and I would have fun doing that. And because they're all so bloated that you really couldn't go wrong by doing that. Now you have a lot of little avenues you can drive off of, but you got to be more selective on how you're doing that. You're going to want to put a little bit of attack speed in there. You're going to want to put a little crit in there, but that's 2 different items. You're not building one item and getting all of that together. Yeah. So it's a little bit more thinking goes into it, which I think I like it though, because like if you're literally going down that path, like, hey, I want to, you're going crit, you're going crit then. And you're not like, all right, I'm going to go crit, but I'm going to get this and this with it, you know? So I like it.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing they could have done is remove crit percentage and add to others. Me too.
I'm on the fence about crit.
Speaking of crit, let's go into it. Do you guys think of do you think increasing it to 25% is the right idea?
I think Demolisher needs to be like fully reworked. I don't think you can put 25% crit and 25% armor pen on the same item. I think that item specifically is the problem. In my opinion. Because it forces you otherwise, right? If let's say Demolisher has the same 25% pen passive, but no crit. In order to stack that 50% pen, you could only get 75% crit chance. Now you can get 50% pen and 100% crit chance. Keep in mind, Terminus, Lifesteal still has crits. Kingsbane, Kingsbane doesn't have crit. What's the other item I'm thinking of? Tainted Rounds is the other one. Anti-heal with crit, with attack speed. Viper got a net buff in my opinion with attack speed, armor shred. Like you can get 100% crit, 50% armor pen, and 30% armor shred. I think, and 15% life steal, and that's all one build. I don't like it.
That might be like niche case, like an item that turns into the outlier, right? Like Demolisher may be an outlier item where it's like, okay, we've niched it into this like crit pen thing, but one of it is just performing too high, right? Like they could take the crit on this and be like, hey, look, we don't mind giving you some crit, but it's going to be like 10. Or they could take the armor pen and be like, hey, we're going to give you pen, but it's like 10, you know.
The fact that all the crit items have 25% is what bugs me.
Yeah, you can go 100% crit with 4 items and still have a slot to do whatever the fuck you want. Like there is no risk reward in that sense.
Well, I guess I wouldn't say risk is the word that I would use here, but it's like the trade-off is that you're not getting what one of these other great carry items brings, which I think is fine because there's so many of them that are seemingly doing really great shit. But like I'm looking at Demolisher now because, like, again, I didn't really put much of my eyes and attention on these items. This one does look a little bloated. It looks a little bloated. And also the cost got decreased. So it's a 2,900 item that has 45 power, 25%. What passive does it have on it? Because it doesn't I'm reading the passive.
For your first critical strike does 30% extra damage. It's not your first shot anymore. It's your first crit.
And then 25% pen.
Physical pen.
Yep.
Yeah, Demolisher looks a little bloated to me.
I think there are two carry items that are actually issues right now, and it's Demolisher and Vanquisher. I think those are the only two that are actually issues. Vanquisher is I played 15 plus matches today. Vanquisher was bought almost first item in every single game by every single carry. It is insane. It has flat pen on it, which makes it really good early game. It has crit on it, which makes it just really good, period. The execute threshold being at 7% means that it's really good on Revenant and Murdock and Drongo, because all of those people have delayed damage / Murdock has a cross map snipe that can just straight up execute people. Sparrow's the only carry that wasn't building Vanquisher today.
Yeah, I think it's pretty nuts too. And it only went up like 100 gold.
That item and Demolisher are the only two that I have issues with.
Yeah, I could see them literally taking these two items and just cutting the crit down on them.
Well, and like if you're gonna do that, why not take an item like Imperator and like it obviously has 60 power on it right now, but if you drop it down to like 40 power or 30 power and give it 40% crit chance,
make it
and that's the item you want to go. Like, good, you're going to get kind of dog shit stats off of this, but it's going to make up for that gap in crits if you really want to commit to that.
And then it builds you into build paths where it's like, yes, I'm taking the 10% crit item because it's so damn strong at doing XYZ thing, but I'm going to make up for it by getting that fat ass crit item on like item slot 3-4 with
that maybe doesn't have good stats maybe or a bad passive or something like that, but it makes up for that crit.
Yeah. So what we're still seeing, and it's been levied out or like leveled out amongst like less items now, but we're still seeing a little bit of bloat, because the bloat is now everything has like the same exact level of what it is, like that, which is like 25% crit, instead of some things having 10, some things having 15, some things having 30 or 40.
It makes it harder to balance. I don't see why you wouldn't drop the crit on items. I think you're making the game harder to balance by not dropping crit item on percentage.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement here. I do think that we're now seeing bloat across the board less, but it's like still there. It's like still there.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
In my opinion, the crit items are the only one the other on hit items I don't think are broken.
Yeah. I think that 25% going up from 20% to 25%, I thought was the wrong move. I thought going and dropping everything down to 15% and giving you the one bloated item or one huge crit item would have been the way to go. Like making everything else being 10 to 15% crit or something, all right, you're getting these smaller crits, but if you build 4 of them, you're doing pretty good crit, right? If we build 15%, build 4 of them, you're doing 60 crit. Like, and then you get one, then you build that last 5th item, that Imperator, that big crit item, that'll give you your 100 if you want to go that route. I just think that would be the way to go. But instead, now you're building everything 25%. Like you're at 100% at 4 items. Like I'm
building crit on Fang Mao right now. I'm building Vanquisher Demolisher on Fang Mao. 50% crit chance on 2 items that give me a 7% execute threshold, 12 flat pen, and 25% pen. Like, sign me up.
Right.
I'm not losing anything to just gain 50% crit chance.
Yep. I just don't think going up to 25% was the right way. I think it needed to go down the other way. That's what I thought. What I saw, I was like, oh, that went up. And then I looked and went, oh, that went up. Like, okay. I mean, I get they took it out of the crest.
I'm glad it's not on crests. I will say that.
Could you imagine they increased it and then also left it on the crest? That would have been insane.
So the funny thing about it being on crest is that, like, okay, if you're planning on going a crit build, if it's on all the crests, then all the crests are super attractive to you. If it's only on one of the crests or 2 of the crests, then you feel gated off of one of the crests. It's like you feel like you can't afford to take it because you need the crit. So I think taking it away from crest entirely was probably the most sensible thing they could have done.
I agree.
Oh yeah.
Unless they make a marksman, like another crest with 3 more marksman crests, and all of those are the crit crests, because that could potentially work. where you have a set of crests that do their own thing that have no crit, and then another set of crests that all have crit. That could be an interesting way of doing it. But I do think like with what they have in place now, it was like the most sensible thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, how do you guys feel about the fact that they took away the percent crit build? Because now they're making it easier to get to 100%. But now, for example, you don't necessarily have the absolute nutty, like, hey, get 120, 140% crit, and now you're kind of cracked just because you went a full crit build.
Revenant's the only one left with like that percent crit as a stat, right? They took it off of Drongo's passive. They took it off of Imperator's passive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Revenant still has it in his.
We're talking about crit hit damage, right?
No. Yeah. Just like percent crit, like Imperator last patch, right? It was like gain 1 power for 5% crit chance.
Oh, okay.
So if you have 140% crit chance of getting a bunch of power off of it.
A ton of power, yeah.
And that's still on Rev's passive, but I don't know. I like that they're getting rid of it, especially with what's it called, resolution not being crit. Like you could max out at 125. Not really pushing it anymore.
Well, like crit is damage, so having your crit like amplifying your damage and then giving you power just feels like a little much. So I think like, yeah, that's good that they're not doing that as often, I guess, if that makes sense. Maybe I feel like I'm maybe not following.
I know. I understand what you're saying. Like obviously I come from Smite. If you're buying a crit item, maybe it has attack speed on it or something like that, but it's not, you're not getting 70 power and
yeah,
then crit, like, you know, crits. If you think about it this way, right? 4 crit items double your damage.
Yeah,
it's literally double damage.
So what characters do you guys think are gonna excel with all these changes?
Sparrow's the best carry. Sparrow's the best carry.
Yeah, I actually just have no clue. I have no read on it.
Sparrow with Stormbreaker, Kingsbane, Tainted Rounds, and Sky Splitter. Just nothing stands up to her. She's the only carry you don't go crit on, and I think she is I think her and Revenant are the top 2, but I think Sparrow's number 1. You're so fast. Muriel's so good, which makes Sparrow better. I just think she's cracked. Revenant, you can go an assassin build with Ortus, and then you could start like Vanquisher and go into like some pen, and you 2-shot people late game with like an auto and a Q. You 2-shot people, but I think Sparrow is going to be the best like team fighter. Like you can't shut her down. She's too fast to catch. She's really hard to sit on. Like you have to have serious mobility to get to her. Like Kallari's never going to catch her. Fang Mao has a chance if he blinks on her every fight, but I think it's going to be hard to track her down.
Mm-hmm. I think this is him just trying to get us to play Fang Mao. You heard that in there?
I think you should. I think Fang Mao is getting a boost this patch, I will say.
A lot of these items do help him, for sure.
This is the Fang Mao supporter. He last time out, he was saying how he's trying to convince people that Fang Mao is actually good. So
I think he's like 2% better.
You're only giving him 2%?
No, I don't know. I don't think he's much better, but I think he's like
2%. 2% plus 0 makes him 2%. Okay.
I think I would have given him like 10%.
I mean, even
after day 1,
adding 10% to dog shit is like, what? How do we do that math?
Yeah, but I will say I think tanks are going to get much worse. Like by the end of this week, I think you guys will just not be playing tanks. And I think
so
Fang
hard
Mao,
to imagine.
You really think it's that bad, bro?
I think it's that bad.
Because again, we were talking about it earlier. There's items that give you 80 armor, 70 armor up in this game.
Breach deals 35% of your physical armor back at you per shot.
But who's all building Breach? If it's just one person,
nearly everyone.
I don't know.
Everyone but Sparrow. Sparrow, you don't build it because you go Eviscerator, because Eviscerator's actually good now because it has lifesteal on it. And so you don't need any pen on Sparrow. Everyone else is building Breach.
Okay, so you say everyone, you mean like the carries, right?
Carries, yeah, carries.
Okay, so that's just one.
If you're playing Chimera, you're building Breach. I think
maybe.
If you're building aggressive Chimera, I think you build Breach.
I don't know.
Breach, Gideon, Pug.
I see. You were saying, what were you saying? Sky Splitter, Ashbringer? Is that your first, or Mutilator, Ashbringer?
It's Muty Ash. Sky Ash is like where I'm leaning.
I think Ashbringer and Breach is actually better. You get so much flat pen, you insta kill squishies. Because Breach gives you more flat pen every time you hit someone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a bad damage item. I'm just not sure that it's better than having percentage. So this is another build philosophy thing. In jungle, I almost always build percentage HP damage because it ups your presence and your shred potential of objectives. So I don't know if I hate it. I actually don't know how I feel about it. It's the thing is like if I have Mutilator and we have a tight window of time where I know we can get Fangtooth, we can get it. Like I know it's like, okay, I have Mutilator. We can rip this off the fucking face of the earth. So it creates time for you. So when I play jungle, like it's so hard for me to ever imagine playing a jungler that's not running either Megacosm, Sky Splitter, or Mutilator. It's like I basically have to. Like it fits into my role unless I'm a tank. If I'm a tank, then it's not my role anymore. Like if I'm Rampage, I don't build it. If I'm Steel, I don't build it. If I'm Richter, I don't build it. But other than that, it's like I'm building one of those three items every game because of the presence that it has at an objective. So that's like another thing that I personally have to factor in, or I choose to factor in for the time being. So
I see where you're coming from. I understand why it's necessary. But I think Megacosm especially. Have you played Shinbi today, Krashy?
I have, and I don't know if she's good or not. Like it's like she still feels like she does Shinbi things. She's just like a shittier version, and I'm not sure if she's like good. Like I don't know. I need more time.
I think you will see her drop.
I think she's gonna drop because I mean it's just net nerfs, right? Like there's no question. Like,
well, yeah,
she does less tick damage. She what else did they do? Did they increase her mana cost on her Q or something? Was that
no? The cooldown on her E.
Cooldown on her E. So it was. Oh, well, I know that those were the two like bug fixes, which I don't really think they were bug.
They
fixes.
didn't nerf anything, right? Was it
there
just those two bug
else,
fixes?
Right? There was. Hold on. I can just control that.
I thought it was just the two bug fixes. If there's something else, then I don't know.
So here's Shinbi. Shinbi had a couple issues with her circle rhythm. We're fixing those up and decreasing her mana economy to prevent her staying in lane for extended periods. General mana regeneration growth decreased from 0.25 to 0.18. Her circle rhythm, her E, bug fixed an issue where circle rhythm was applying damage over 6 ticks instead of 4, causing her ultimate to stack faster. And a bug fixed an issue where circle rhythm was going on cooldown at the start of the cast instead of at the end.
And then they fixed this morning the Mutilator bug on her as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so Shinbi, I mean, it's like if like you can look at it as bug fixes because that's what they've listed as, sure. But in general, pre-patch Shinbi to post-patch Shinbi, it's just net nerfs. Like she's just net worse. Right. So yeah, I definitely think like where I was putting her like on a tier list or how valuable I thought she was, I definitely think she's way less valuable now. Maybe not unusable, but like I don't think she's like a huge contender for being picked like high.
I think you play her in the solo lane against Grux. I think that's the only time you pick her now.
Probably. I don't think I'd care for her in jungle right away, which makes me sad because I was like,
she was fun.
The duality of me experiencing this game with heroes I don't understand is like they come in and like I get told what the hero's about. And I'm like, oh, Shinbi sounds like Countess. Well, don't get the jungler. That sucks. And then I play her and I'm like, yo, this is fucking lit. This character's a jungler. And then a patch later, they're like, oh, we have to bug fix her. And I'm like, fuck, like now I can't play her again. So it's like, I was excited because I didn't think I was going to get a jungler for a while. And then I did get a jungler. And now I don't know if I like her.
Well, I mean, the cooldown thing is definitely a bug fix in my opinion, because everything else, the way the cooldowns work.
Yeah.
Literally.
I think it was intended and then it was broken. So they fixed it.
I don't think that's how it's intended. Like literally everything else you have, like as soon as that thing finally finishes, that's when the cooldown starts. for hers to start right as you hit the button, that's not when a cooldown should start counting down, because then you still have the whole circle rhythm that it's going. Okay, sweet. I've already used up my 3 seconds of my 10-second cooldown. Like I'm already 7 seconds there.
So when you bug fix it, can you like cut the cooldown down some?
Exactly.
Like, can you know what I mean? Like,
he said, don't make it feel as bad, please.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it is like it whether it is an actual bug and they're fixing it or not. Like the way I'm going to perceive it as just a user of the character, it's like it's just a nerf. Like because I had faster cooldowns.
Well, yeah, that's definitely going to be a nerf.
It's essentially plus 3 seconds to the cooldown.
Yeah, so it makes me sad. It makes me sad either way. Because I don't know, but I could be wrong. I mean, she may still be good. I just need more time with her. But the couple games I played her today, I was just like, I'm not really feeling that big impact that I had before. So yeah, Rampage it is. I guess I get to play lots of Rampage.
He says that's so sad.
You get to die to Sparrow for the next week. That's what you get to do.
I always die to Sparrow. That's like that. Like that's why I'm like not super concerned with like tanks, because carries are always giga broken in the end game and like shred me anyways.
I mean,
I don't think it takes end game now.
The end game and go.
I don't think you have to get to end game anymore.
I guess I'll find out, because I don't know. It hasn't felt too bad. Like I haven't felt useless playing like tankier junglers so far, but. Like I said, I don't know how much people have figured out and how good people are getting. So, yeah.
All right. So we do have some hero fixes that we can definitely go over, right? We've had a great conversation and this is awesome, but let's get some of the patch in here. We're not going to go over the items. If you guys have certain items you want to talk about, I know we talked about a lot of them.
Yeah.
But Mangoose put out a really good video on his YouTube. He actually put them side by side. Krashy, what you were asking for. So I don't know if you see the video or not, but he put it side by side how it was and how it is, and how it was. So of the items, the tier 3 items, not tier 2s or anything like that. Tier 3 items, how they work side by side. He put a good video with that. I will link that here in chat, and I'll give that to Windu so we can put it in the YouTube version as well. So you guys go check that out if you really want to understand what was changed with certain items. Like I said, if you guys want to bring them up, we could talk about them. But I'm going to read the intro here, and we'll go over the hero changes, and then, like I said, items. We're not going to touch those. We'll post that video.
Yeah.
Everybody good with that?
Cool.
Spicy.
Okay. All right. I just post that link, Windu's video in the chat right now on the live chat. Like I said, I'll give that to Windu. We can put in the YouTube version as well if you're watching on YouTube. But all right, the time has finally come. We have the first larger scale item rework hitting your game this coming Tuesday. This patch seeks to shake up the meta with a big shifts to stat lines and effects from ADC itemization. Alongside that, we've changed a smaller bunch of assassin and fighter items to better fit with the build paths and opportunities ADC players can seek out. We're introducing 3 potential core paths for ADC players to explore: critical strike, on hit, and penetration. Many items have been adjusted so that the current ADC roster can feel a bit more unique based on the way they modify their hero through these item changes. Gone are the days of only critical strike itemization. Assassins and fighters have also seen some new shifts to their own items, allowing more potential build diversity and opening up options for more heroes such as Crunch or Kallari. We're also looking to fix up some major balance concerns with Raiment and Megacosm. Lastly, with the items is a new support crest option called Reclamation, allowing support to help cleanse their allies of negative effects. Another significant change in this patch is pre-cleansing is getting a small nerf. This means that players who look to cleanse knockups and other debuffs before they hit need to tighten their timing to achieve the same result. We still want pre-cleansing to exist as a skill, but it needs to carry sufficient risk for how potent the result can be. Finally, we're touching up on range basic attacks to further help improve the feel and weight for ADCs and mages. That's all for the balance pass. We hope you find great enjoyment in exploring all the possible combinations of new items in the large overhaul. See you next time in 0.5 when the hunt begins. Blood Mortius, Seam Gain, your designer. So first thing I read here, well, not first thing I read, but like one of the things I read here, and when I read it, it made me think of this. It says another thing we change in this patch is pre-cleansing is getting a small nerf. You got to do it. You have a shorter window to do the pre-cleansing, right? correct me if I'm wrong, and Krashy, you're the one to ask this, but the cleanse that Chimera has on his E, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't he able to cleanse like even afterwards? Like,
well, you can cleanse. So for knockup specifically, like that's a particular type of CC that you can cleanse it. It's just when you cleanse it, it's not going to do anything because you're already up in the air. So you would have to pre-cleanse the knockup in order to get that little, I forget the timing of it, but X CC immunity right after using your cleanse. So like if you get rooted, like if I run into a Murdock trap, you can just cleanse and walk out of it. But if you're knocked up by, say, Bellica's Q and you're in the air, if you cleanse yourself in the air, it doesn't matter. You're already in the air. So it's targeting the knockup specific CC, because knockup specifically, if you cleanse it, it's not going to yoink you down to the ground. You're just gonna take it. So you have to like be really, really accurate with pre-cleansing knockups, and they made that like tight. So yeah.
Got you. All right.
I don't like it.
I didn't even realize that allies can cleanse you now. I totally overlooked that.
Malediction. What? I don't know what malediction's called now, but it's good.
Reclamation. Yeah. So now instead of just heal, it heals and cleanses you.
Yeah. Feppy.
No, there's a different cleanse. The other one's the heal. Tranquility's the heal. Pink is heal.
It says
this one also heals. This one heals you for like 150, bro.
There's two heals now. Okay, I got you. This one's a
Tranquility is the heal.
This is like an omni potion sort of vibe, like a little bit of both. Okay, I got you.
My support player Feppy cleansed me out of a Richter ult today, so that was cool.
Like I cleansed my carry out of a rampage.
Yeah,
rock,
I just like walked away and I was like,
thank you.
It's very good.
Like,
very good.
Dude. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, they definitely
keep your job.
I mean, listen, everybody was like, yeah, with CC, like there's tons of CC in this game. So like legacy, like, okay, cool. Like
so they nerfed CC immunity to get rid of the CC problem.
But like that is a little weird, but it's like it's also skillful, and I'm not saying I'm defending it because I don't know yet. I was trying to pre-cleanse a Bellica earlier today and I couldn't do it. Like I couldn't. I don't know why. I was getting frustrated too because I was playing Chimera. And I was just like, dude, every time I was near a Bellica, she would hit me with it. And it's like, I feel like I usually would get this and now I'm not. So I gotta, I'm going to take that on as a challenge and then I'll bitch about it later if I can't ever figure it out. So
I just like, to me, it's like, if I'm running at you and I know you're going to stun me and I cleanse and you hold your stun for half a second and then stun me, you just made a play and I wasted my cleanse. If you do stun me and I react and I cleanse it, I just made a play. But like being down to 0.25 seconds to me is just like it ruins. It takes away from that play, right? It's a mind game, and to me it takes away from it. Like if I play on 120 ping on East, do you think I'm going to pre-cleanse a Bell knockup coming at me? No, I can't, bro. I have 0.1 seconds to react to that on 120
I was about to say, technically, you still got 1.5 seconds after the 100
Technically. You got this. You got this.
I'm actually guessing on ping to cleanse. I'm actually guessing. At least before I had a chance. I don't know. To me, it like if I'm good enough to pre-cleanse a steel ult, I don't know. I feel like I should get rewarded for that. And now it's just like, oh, you kind of get punished even if you have the ability.
Do you think they made it that way because they added the extra cleanse item?
No, I have no idea why they made this change. This was the one change in the patch where I was like looking at this and I'm like, why?
Maybe
who is complaining about this?
Maybe they felt too many people were cleansing too easy. I don't know.
Okay, so on the note of them making a change that you say why and you're like, when was this like a problem? I have two.
Yeah, lay it on me.
So it's not existential, and I don't really care that much. But I looked at these changes and I was like, wait, why? They said Brutallax was being abused by 80 carries, and I was like, who? I was like, fucking what carry player picked Brutallax that you needed to nerf Brutallax?
I was a little annoyed with that. That was the only individual I ever saw.
I was a little annoyed because
you cannot nerf or you can't balance off of Pappy though. Because Pappy is one of the guys that will build the most randomest shit on the most randomest character in the most randomest role.
Now the second one, this is not quite the same because this one is kind of like was Icecorn Talons. It was 20%, 15%,
20% damage.
15% damage. So they take it from damage to physical power, but they didn't give any to the percentage. So it's just less damage. damage now, so they just nerfed it.
But it has.
You
I think
can
it has
cast
some
it
more
every
uses,
30
actually.
seconds, though.
I know, but like
you can cast it every 30
damage.
seconds, and by the time the actual
used to do
ice
more
disappears, you still got your only 20 seconds left, bro.
Yeah, like it used to do more damage than it does now, and they nerfed it. Now I will say, seeing Ice Core and Shinbi was pretty fucking stupid. Like that was fucking dumb.
Yeah.
So like I get why they changed it from damage to physical power, but I don't get why they changed it from damage to physical power and left the percentage the same. I figured they would have given it like a baby bump, like a 5% bump. Again, that one doesn't bother me as much. I looked at Brutallax and I was like, why you gonna do me like this? It's like, why?
I mean, Natty brings up a great point. It literally could just be the fact that somebody got ahead of the curve and they're like, yo, watch this shit in testing.
True.
And then they just wrecked the dev firsthand. And they're like, all right, hold on. What the fuck is this? No, bueno.
I will say, like, if you could have old 30% attack speed Brutallax with like, what is it? What was it? 8% lifesteal on that item. Like, carries, I think, would use it this patch, especially when they don't get crit off of crests, right? You have to think that they're not giving up a crest to go for that now.
Yeah.
So I understand if it's because of testing, then I actually understand that.
Maybe.
Dude, you kept on saying Natty. I'm like, who are you talking about? It took me forever to realize that's.
You mean Yatan?
Yeah,
Yatan. Yes.
I was like, who's Natty?
Okay, wait.
What?
Okay, this is where we have to pause for a second.
All right, we're pausing.
Is his name Natty?
I don't know.
I have called him Yatan every time he's been in my chat.
I called him Yatan today. Yatan, what's your damn name?
I know a Natty from Fault, but I don't know if this is.
Wait, who are you?
Well, I'm pretty sure that's Natty from Fault.
Wait.
I don't
well,
this
listen, man.
Showed up, followed the other time. I
came from Pred. I came from Pred. How am I supposed to know? I don't know anything. If your name's not Yatan, you need to tell me. So if your name's Natty, I need to know this.
It is Natty.
Okay,
Natty. So
I'll call him Natty from now on. But
how many times was I going to be able to call him Yatan before he said something?
That's what I'm saying. I had no idea.
You go with it. Just let you go with it. That's.
Shout outs to you, Natty. Shout outs
to you. Did I just expose you, bro? My bad.
I actually when he followed, I was doing something. He followed. Hey, YouTube Tan, thank you for the follow. That's what I saw the YT Tan. I'm like, hey, YouTube Tan sends his regard. Hey, thank you for the follow. I'm like, that's what I called him. And I'm like, then you said Natty. I'm like, where the fuck is Natty at? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like looking at these names. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, bro, I read that as Natty sends his regards.
Yeah, I've just read it as Yatan. Damn, dude.
All right.
Yeah, my bad.
All right. I'm still gonna call him YouTube Tan. That's what I'm gonna. It's got that YouTube Tan going, you know. All right. So heroes, general, as mentioned already, we still want pre-cleansing to remain as a skill to master and to help counter displacement-based CC. Currently, however, it's a bit too reliable and easy to access. So we're bumping down the CC immunity from all cleanses. All right, it was too easy, especially if you're playing on East Coast. We're also increasing projectile speed for range basic attacks to help improve the feel, but are decreasing the radius alongside it to prevent buffing the hit percentage. CC immunity decreased from 0.5 seconds to 0.25 seconds. Range basic attack projectile speed increased from 18,000 to 23,500. Range basic attack projectile radius decreased from 35 to 32. Can somebody explain the radius to me?
How far you shoot?
Smaller projectile.
So like my little...
your little bubble around it, how far you can aim.
Little bubble, okay, got you. Okay. Smaller projectile? Like my projectile smaller?
That's how I understood it.
Or like my
I thought the size of the bullet is smaller. That's how I understood it.
That's how it
That's what I'm asking. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to like. I read that. I'm like,
smaller bullet. You have to be more accurate.
Well, it says ranged basic attack. So it's like, I would assume, the thing you're shooting with, whether you're a mage or a carry, is smaller. It's smaller.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was, because it doesn't say range. It just says the radius is decreased. I'm like, I was like, but yeah.
See, the projectile speed feels great though.
I was going to say, to touch on this, it felt good. It felt really good.
Bro, a Marshall next to you now as a carry?
Not exactly hit scan, but it's close to it.
Bro, that projectile speed, and then with the Marshall, I was like, clack, clack. I was like, okay, Marshall feels like hella spicy right now. Like these shots feel great. I think this was a really good change.
as someone that like plays 95% of my matches melee, when I play a carry, I'm always off. Like I always feel off. It takes me like a minute to get like, okay, shit, I'm not fucking melee. Like, let me get back in the groove of this. So I'll play Gideon mid or something. So I played a Gideon game today, and I was like, oh, okay. I was kind of like moving around. I was like, all right, damn, like this feels pretty responsive. And so to me, it's like it just felt like that nice bump in quality, right? Like this feels like a thing that they should have done because it makes the game feel less like laggy or clunky.
Right.
So yeah, and then compensating, obviously they don't want the hit percentage to go through the roof, so they make the radius smaller. So it's like the skill's still there, but the clunkiness is gone. So as far as I can tell, I think it's a good one.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I'm on the fence.
We'll see. I guess we'll see.
You just like being on the fence.
I do. I think if they don't hit the movement speed penalty, now it's just easier to run people down because your fucking autos go faster.
Interesting perspective.
I mean, but aren't they going to hit
easier to run someone down? Because you get an extra auto at the end when maybe that last auto would be in the air when they get out of range. It's faster, and you get to hit them with it.
It needs to be faster though. Like,
I'm cool with it being faster.
Let's go outside and shoot each other, and let's see how fast these bullets move. They move way slow on the game.
Sparrow shoots arrows though. Should Rev's bullets be faster than Sparrow's arrows?
Yes. Should.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess I would. I don't know guns and bows that well. I just know they both shoot fast enough to where I can't dodge them. All right. As long as I can't dodge them. I can though. Okay. All right.
You've never seen the Pinzo IRL strafe.
Yeah, dude. Did you miss the Pinzo dodging bullets stream, dude?
I did. That must have been one of the 8 hours that I wasn't still at work. So. All right, we're gonna move on to Drago.
Right, yeah, continue.
Right, no, you're good. You're good. All right. With Build Pass opening up, we also want to open up some pathways for Drongo players, specifically for the possibility of penetration based builds that rely on high burst and poke over the standard crit DPS pass. With this in mind, we're removing the second part of Drago's passive ability and increasing his base damage and scalings to compensate. We're also adding some damage to his gag grenade ability to increase its use cases and allow us to better distribute his damage across his kit. Wastelander, his passive, no longer increases ability damage based on critical strike chance. Gag Grenade, his Q, now deals 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, plus 30% bonus physical power, physical damage on impact. Now applies Wastelander's DOT to all targets within every 0.5 seconds. Old Rusty is RMB. Base damage increased to 50, 70, 90, 110 to 130. Scaling increased from 40% to 50%. Cooldown changed from 8 on all levels to 9, 8.5, 8, 7.5, and 7. Rad rounds his E. Initial shot damage increased to 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. And his shrapnel cannon, his R. Base damage increased to 175, 300, 425. Scaling increased from 60 to 80%. So his R got a big buff.
Well, I played him. He didn't seem oppressive, but he felt really nice. Even like the damage off of the grenade, right? Like it was something very, very small. It's not like you're throwing the grenade and melting people with it. I think at the beginning.
No, but now it's definitely more a zoning tool. Yeah. Because people are not gonna stand in there. An ADC isn't gonna stand there because like a Murdock, right? You're silenced, but your one ability that you use a lot, which is your buckshot. You can still stand there and shoot him. Well, now you don't want to stand in there because you don't want to take that little tick damage. So I mean, especially because that's also. It's DOT, so even if you got hit by it, you step out, you're still going to take damage as you stepped out from it. So you don't want to be in it very long because you don't want to keep on taking the tick damage. So it's a good. I
think you only get hit by it if you're inside. I don't think it doesn't have like a.
It says now applies Wastelander's DOT
passive
to all targets within. So if it applies the DOT, I'm assuming you're getting damage over time.
Yeah, you're right. Never mind.
Okay.
Because that is how his passive works. Like whenever you apply rad rounds, no. When you apply rad rounds and everything, like it'll still continue after that.
Okay.
So it just applies that exact same passive to the grenade. Okay.
Got you. Okay. But yeah, that R though. I mean, it almost that's 50.
It's a big damage increase.
Yeah, that's a good damage increase, and then but the scaling as well, 60 with the I thought that was pretty crazy, because your initial R, when you buy R, it's still the same 175, right? And then you get a 25 overall in the level 2, and then level 3 you're getting a 50 extra whatever, and then 80. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. All right, Gadget, probably Pinzo's favorite mid laner. Gadget has felt a little too durable and safe amongst the current mid laner roster. So we're bumping down some of her base durability and her passive shield ability. We're also decreasing her passive damage to prevent her being overly effective against melee heroes in the early game. So general base health decreased from 600 to 580, and her shock absorber, her passive shield max mana scaling decreased from 12% to 10%, and base damage decreased from 80 to 50. All right. Her shielding, and I was playing with somebody, and somebody didn't realize that she actually got a shield. I was saying, like, oh, that's in her kit, and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, that's part of her kit that she gets a shield off of that. So I think I actually enjoy this with her. I think Gadget's
passive needs a rework.
And I can understand that too. I just think with the passive she has now, I thought this was like the shielding was a little bit too much. Like she was able to stay in lane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She was definitely safe.
I agree. I don't like, me personally, I don't like passives that I don't get to control when they go off. I don't like that. Also, Gadget's passive, is there a reason, like, honest question, is there a reason it does damage if you break the shield? Why does it do full damage if you break the shield? Like, shouldn't the damage be tied to the shield? It does almost as much. It does 80% of the damage of her Q when that shield expires.
Ooh.
It's literally getting hit by another ability.
Yeah, I don't know why it explodes. I think having this passive shield in its own is...
The shield is fine, strong. But why does it do damage if I break it, bro? I don't know. I just don't like that I don't get to control when it happens. If she got that shield when she ulted, then I get to choose when I get that extra shield. You don't get to proc it, minute 1 of a fight, and now I'm shieldless for the rest of the fight. But also, I have to burn my ult to get that shield, I don't know.
I don't have any problems with it, but I also don't I'm not a Gadget enjoyer too often, so
I'm a Gadget hater, bro.
All right.
Bro, I knew about the shield. I didn't know that shit blew up until right now. Swear to God. It
does late game it does 500 damage.
Damn.
When it blows up.
That's a good chunk.
It's a lot.
That's more damage than a fucking Drongo ult.
Yeah.
It only does 425 damage.
Well, okay, I don't know what the base damage on it is, but it's late game that it does. If your bomb hits for 600 late game, your passive hits for 450.
Damn. Okay. All right. So I want to talk what's going on in chat real quick. I mean, back to what we were talking about, the ranged autos. I didn't see that all of it was saying basically talking about the range autos, and Ray says then that would then the laws of physics fly out the window. And then Street Soldier says kind of feel like if you change projectile speed, you need a little movement speed to match. And then Ray also says this is an option. Got to be careful with rotation times and everything. So usually these things are done one step at a time to ensure the right thing is being hit, rather than doing too much and at once and not knowing what element was good or bad. So and Street agreed with that. So that's definitely a really good little insight, I would think, for some people who aren't that big into the game or are following the patches and stuff like that. So
I agree with him. I do find that a funny sentence for 15 carry items being reworked at the same time.
That's true. That's
like, you
true.
Feel me? Like, I agree, but I'm like, yo, there's a lot of changes that got made at once, bro. We're about to find out for a good like it's gonna be a little bit with people experimenting and shit for the community. We don't talk about that. It's gonna be a good little bit until the community kind of breaks everything down and be like, all right, that's dog shit. That's broken. Put these two together. Keep that away from Pinzo. Like, you know, that's honestly, with them two. Shit.
That really is where I'm at. I'm just chilling and waiting to see what the carry people come up with. And then like I'll let that trickle into like maybe some of my item purchases. But like most of what I'm looking at is like I'm like, all right, I got my eyes on Legacy. I looked at like the crest changes. I'm like, okay, cool. But like this patch didn't really do a ton for me, which I'm cool with because I like being able to look at a patch and like talk about it and analyze it. But like with the implications being really low for my gameplay, like I don't have to think about too much. I saw the Bonesaw change and I was like, that's cool. Like I like that. Bonesaw's lit. I was like, that's a good one. But yeah, most of the other changes like I'm chilling with.
Did you see Ray's reply window?
Yeah, he said we don't talk about that usually. Sometimes he just full send that bitch. Oh man, I will say though, and he just sent another message there, but I will say that is a very big part. And again, that's just gonna come with time. A lot of us will just be chilling and be like, okay, I kind of like these items. I don't know where we get fucking destroyed and be like, what the fuck just did all that damage to me? And then you look and he's got 2 items. Like, there's no fucking way that bullshit's stacking, right? Am I tripping? And then you try it and you're like, all right, new main build confirmed.
New main build, yep. So I don't know if I said this before and I want to say it now. So for the group that does the patches, I love these little notes they put in here to explain why the heroes are changed or why the item is changed, because they can easily just come in here, all right, gadget, general, shock, and then show to the password, and then here you go, this was a change on gadget. They don't have to explain it, right? The fact that they do explain it, I love it, because now it helps me understand where they're trying to go with it and what they were seeing with the data that they have. I love that little insight. It's almost like you're just making me a part of early access besides just being a gamer, right? I actually get to understand your mindset behind it and what's going on. So love it. Keep it up, guys.
Throw some respect to the shell shock gadget.
I think the reality too is that like you know there's going to be a different type of player out there, right? And like the main like archetypes of players are the very, very invested and the casual. And so a casual player is going to pull up patch notes and barely read them or won't pull them up at all. And like when we pull up patch notes, I want to know everything, right? Like I'm trying to know, like I want to know everything. And that's why I had even put in the creator Discord with some feedback, was like, hey, I would love to see just, you know, right next to your, I love the way they did it. I love that they listed out and they list all the changes. I love that for reworks, it's a completely new item, but I would also like to see before and after, because it's like, I forget what's on items, you know what I mean? Like I don't remember it all. So then I'm like, I'm reading the patch notes and I'm looking back at the items at the same time, and that gets a little confusing. And it made me realize like what the patch notes actually, how they're supposed to be read. So this whole last patch, I realized how they actually write them. So now I have a better handle of it going forward. But I would still love to see before and after. So if like Blood Mortius, if you're listening, if that is possible on y'all's website, like the way that y'all can do it, if you could, you know, just smack on a couple images right next to the way you do things, it would be so nice.
Right. It'd be cool to just see like the actual item, the item art. You know how it's like the item and then the description, kind of like in the corner of the store. Take a screenshot of that section, the before and after, and just post it as two.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, it does add more work to the patch write-up, but it'd be greatly appreciated. But either which way, yeah, just to, you know, piggyback off the original sentiment. Yeah, I love the little notes, and all the more information, the better, right? It's always appreciated.
Yep. All right, on to Gideon. Gideon is still getting away with tankier builds due to the high base damage on his ultimate, allowing him to dive in and out DPS any target, even in single target scenarios. We're still allowing him to access this kind of damage, but only through scaling. This will reward his damage output through less durable builds. Black Hole Sun, now base damage decreased from 540, 810, 1080 to 450, 675, 900, and the scaling is increased from 240% to 261%. All right, so there are some people just hating on this scaling, but to me it makes sense. Like, I don't know, I just look at it, I understand it. Like, you brought down his base damage and you up his scaling, but this forces you have to build an actual damage item and not a tank item. Yeah. Right. And like, to me, it just makes sense to me. Like, it's forcing you to have to build damage to get to that.
Again,
it only scales off of what you build.
we're pivoting around fucking World Breaker, right? We're constantly like,
is there a reason that item didn't get touched? Does anyone know?
Well, so I think the reason why I didn't get touched is because of changes like this, right? Like World Breaker, like to me is like a really good item, but like it's a good item in like niche cases where you have someone that can take advantage of it, but isn't going to lose so much damage because they're doing it. So like for this Gideon change specifically, if you look at World Breaker, it's like you can do it and be a durable Gideon, but you're just not going to get the same damage output. And so it becomes the trade-off. Beforehand, when you had all that base damage for free, it's like, well, what the fuck is the trade-off? Like there is no trade-off. Like I'm going to build World Breaker on every mage. So World Breaker is interesting because I think it's a really strong item, but it's not the item that I think gets built 100% of the time like it was for like a patch when we had like tank mages kind of running wild. So and it may still need to be looked at some point. I don't know, but at least that's my kind of assessment for it now.
All right, so I'm going to read that real quick. Windows got it pulled up on stream right now. World Breaker, 45 magical power, 300 health, 30% tenacity. Those are your base stats you get with it. Then Fiend, dealing magical damage to an enemy hero, increases your magical damage dealt by 4% for 5 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. And then the Maya, gain plus 2% maximum health, bonus magical power. So I guess I don't understand how that's the tanky item that we're building around, or we're balancing around.
Wouldn't the 20% from World Breaker? Because now, like for example, scaling got increased from 240% to 261, right? Yeah. Add the 20% from World Breaker onto that. Won't World Breaker now be even stronger? Because they only took away like about 100 base.
It's not quite how the math works. Because World Breaker is giving you bonus damage, is that correct, or is it giving you bonus magical power?
It should be. I think it's bonus magical power, right? It's 2% of your max health.
Well, the first
increases
passive,
your
the first
magical
passive.
damage dealt.
Oh,
Increases magical damage dealt. Yeah. I bar that. This is an item that gives you 100 power on every mage if you don't have other HP items built.
You're talking about like full build, like late game,
just
level 18.
total. Yeah, level 18, mages have 2200 health. Like you build this and you have 2500 health, it's giving you 50 bonus power. Like it's a 95 power item with health and tenacity on it. Like, yeah, sure, it doesn't have pen, which is the only other stat that would be like break it more, but I think it's too good. Well, on top of that, it's increasing your damage dealt by 20%.
You have to consider that you're comparing passive v passive too at that point too, right? Because like what other 5th slot item or whatever slot it is, what other item in a 5 slot build could you take that doesn't have this passive but has a different passive? So there is a fair trade-off, especially with items that are in the game that are reaching up to like 100 power anyways. Like Time Warp goes up to like 100 power. The Golem's gift gets pretty high. I forget
Oblivion
what it is when it's
Crown
fully
is up
stacked.
there. Because it gives the 120 plus the 15.
Oblivion Crown's a must buy.
Yeah, it's the
capstone.
bigger item. So I don't know. Like I'm comfortable with it because it's what this item is really meant to be is like hey, you're a tank and you want to do a little bit more damage, not hey, you're a mage and you want to be a little bit more tanky. And so the way that they're handling that problem, so to speak, is by saying like, hey, mages are going to do more of their damage from scaling and less of their damage base. Is it still good on mages? Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's a great item on Shinbi, for example. Not that she's a traditional mage, so to speak. But yeah, you can throw this on like Sevarog. You can throw this on like Richter. If you really wanted to. You could throw it on Steel. And that's like where the niche case like usage of World Breaker is coming from. Again, it may need to get hit a little bit. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but there is definitely still a trade-off from buying it. Because like, yeah, maybe you can't fix Caustica and Wraith Leggings in if you do this, or you're not getting Megacosm, or you don't get a Tainted Scepter to anti-heal, or whatever the case may be. You're getting less sustain because you didn't buy Life Binder. So yeah, thoughts on World Breaker completed.
There we go.
And
I didn't know how to end that sentence. End scene.
End scene. All right, Muriel's consecrated ground ability was scaling in a non-linear fashion. Alongside other buffs to her itemization options, we feel comfortable fixing this and bringing the shield down again. Consecrated ground, her E is bug fix. Base shield decreased from 110, 165, 220, 285, 350 to 110, 165, 220, 275, 330.
It starts the same, ends a little bit lower by 20, which isn't crazy.
The 4th upgrade and the 5th upgrade drop 10 and then 20. So, all right.
I find that sentence funny too. We feel comfortable fixing this. Be like, so you didn't fix it before, or why? You weren't comfortable before? You weren't comfortable last week about it? He's like, yeah, let's see what happens. That's a funny sentence. Right.
I mean, I'm sure there actually are like some scenarios where they're like, we just buffed this hero. Like, don't fuck with that yet. Like, don't, because they're gonna be like, oh, well, they just buffed her, now they're nerfing her again. Like, you know what I mean? So like, there probably are some scenarios where they're like, we're gonna hit that one fucking later. Like, kick that can down the road. I don't want to touch that shit.
Revenant. Revenant can currently reload immediately after every shot except the last. So we're cleaning that up to reward players who time their RMB correctly after the final shot. Hellfire rounds RMB. Reload can now be initiated if RMB is used immediately after the 4th shot instead of there being a short lockout.
People out here doing a Halo quick reload. Okay.
This one was weird to me because, like, why doesn't it just auto reload at the fast speed anyways?
At the fastest moment, right after the shot's gone.
What's the point for like a skill ceiling to that? Like, I don't mind, like, whatever, like, right, like, it's fine, but like, I do find that to be weird. It's like, wait, why is there like a forced delay, and why are you fixing it to where you can manually fix the forced delay? It's like, can't you just cut out the middleman and just like make it the fastest after the shot?
I think
the skill ceiling there is literally when you shoot your 4th shot, hit your Q. By the time your Q is done, your gun's already reloaded, and you're good to go.
Yeah, if the interaction lines up that way. But there's going to be some times where like maybe you queued early because you were like in front of the wave, and then after your shot, now you have to quick time your RMB. It's just one of those weird things. I was just like, oh, it's interesting.
Yeah, it is definitely interesting. I'm wondering if it's because they give you that ability automatically. Like when you first load into a match, you automatically have that ability unlocked, and you have the ability to unlock another ability. So you actually go in starting with 2 abilities. So maybe they make it a skill thing because of that.
I mean, maybe, but it's not like that ability does anything other than giving you passive damage, right? So it's like, it's not like an ability in the sense that like you get to like do something with it. Mm-hmm. It's like you just happen to have it because it's required per the mechanics of the character's reload. I don't know.
Right, so that's why I feel like you have to have it, right?
Maybe,
so if you don't have it unlocked starting, right,
4
you go
shots
in like, all right,
level 1.
4 shots. You got 4 shots till you hit level 2. You gotta land every fucking Q, bro.
It takes 8 creeps to get to level 2. Like,
I gotta make these count. All right, we only got 4 shots until I can get this unlocked. So
you have the support getting the minion in last hit range, and then he can pop it. Like, you're not allowed to touch shit. Jeez.
I'm with you. That's weird. Guess, I thought it already was reloading as fast as it could. Giving the option now.
I was not timing that thing. I literally would just I was letting it do its thing. I would hit my Q if it possible. If not, I was just letting it do its thing. I didn't know there was a skill to that.
Shout out to whoever took the time to write that feedback note. Be like, hey man, if I right click it right after my 4th shot, I can do it faster. I know it. Shout out to that individual, because you're a different breed, bro.
All right, Shinbi. Shinbi had a couple issues with her. Oh, we already met her. I'm not gonna read her again. We already went over that. We're good. All right, Sparrow. Sparrow is getting a little love to her poke-oriented gameplay for penetration builds by shifting her piercing shot arrow damage away from the multiplier and into the raw damage. She is also losing a bit of movement speed when she pops that ultimate to decrease her rundown potential and increase her vulnerability now that she has more durable build options. Piercing shot, her RMB, piercing shot base damage increased to 90, 135, 180, 225, 270. Piercing shot scaling increased from 100% to 130%. Piercing shot passive multiplier decreased to 5% per stack.
Nuts overall.
All right.
Just reading it. I haven't actually tried it.
It's wild.
Higher base damage and higher scaling.
This hits for like 110 at level 1.
Yes, but like fuck the per stack. Like that shit's nuts, bro. That's already the best poke in the carry, like out of all the carries. Like we're talking about just like range and flat damage.
This costs 50 mana, by the way. Mm-hmm. Just so you guys know. Like Rev Q is like 75. This is 50. Like you spam this shit all you want. I played against a Sparrow support today who was poking us. It was Sparrow Revenant duo lane who were able to poke us down so much that it was literally impossible to play the game.
Damn. Also, her ultimate inner fire, our inner fire movement speed buff decreased from 5, 7.5, 10% at perspective levels to 3% at all levels. That's huge.
Good.
Yes, definitely good.
That one, that one was nutty. I'm okay with that one. I don't see why the right click got buffed, but it definitely gives her more of an identity as a carry, as opposed to everybody just kind of having their own identity, and poor Sparrow's like, just wait till late game. So I guess there's just more of identifying the character and kind of giving it.
Alrighty, Crest, Brutallax. With upcoming changes to the Marksman Crest line, Brutallax has been an appealing option for ADCs relative to Liberator. So we're adjusting its stats and decreasing its overall potency to prevent abuse. All right, being abused by Krashy. Physical power increased from 20 to 25. Lifestyle decreased from 8% to 5%. Purifying rage active attack speed decreased from 30% to 20%. Krashy's happy about this. Thank you guys for adjusting.
Again, I only saw Pat to do it. I'm telling you.
The funny thing is I really don't mind that much, but I just remember thinking like, huh, like what?
I saw the video. You're like, wait, what?
Oh, okay. Like, I'm still gonna build. Like, you have warriors on a crest or on a warrior crest where one of the options is so bad I can't pick it. I can't pick Phoenix. It's just fucking terrible. So I will use Brutallax and Icecorn Talons. I love having cleanses. I love it. It's beautiful. People always say, "Oh, you play Chimera. Why do you take a cleanse?" It's like, because I want to. like there's no other reason why. Like, I want to. It's great. So it's fine. It's really fun.
Eviscerator. We've given Eviscerator a pinch of lifesteal as compensation for the removed critical strike chance and to better match the sustain of the other options. Added 5% lifesteal, critical strike chance removed, rending strikes initial scaling increased from 15% to 18%, rending strikes additional scaling per shot decreased from 5% to 3%. Icecorn Talons. Icecorn Talons was providing too much value in later stages of the game and was granting a lot of unintended damage to mages in particular. We're shifting it to physical power to better scale with natural hero scalings and avoid negative interactions with burst mages.
Let's be real, bro. That shit was nuts on Steel. Like, Steel having that extra 15% damage and just CC locking you under the ice was stupid, bro.
Glacial Coliseum active now grants 15% increased physical power instead of 15% increased damage.
Yeah, I just wish they would have raised the physical power percentage a little bit, like 20, 25. But otherwise, it's fine.
What if it was just like 15% increased power, like magical and physical? I think it's OP still. Because that's not exactly 15% damage.
No, see, that's the thing. Like, it's no. Yeah, I don't know, because the thing with taking these items too is that, like, I know that we take them a lot for the passive, but they are also items, right? Like, they do have stats on them. So like when you're a Shinbi taking Icecorn Talons, you're sacrificing like a small amount of stats for the passive buff. So like when you pop that and it gives you flat 15% damage, I understand why that's problematic on characters that's not meant to be run on. But when you change it to 15% power, it's just like a nerf. So I don't think I think the only way to do that is to like buff it up a little bit, so that way it kind of stays similar for what it was for the people that were actually using it, not abusing it. But as it sits now, it's just got nerfed, which I think is okay. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but like it is gonna just do like that passive is just gonna do less damage for the people that actually use it on like bruisers. Still good though, so it's not the biggest.
Don't forget too that it would apply to just anybody standing, guys. So it really came down to, like, if your carry's in the ice, he goes from 15% damage to 15% just power, right? So I guess it kind of still helps him in a way, your carry. But the majority of your team, if they're not using physical power, now the ice only works as a slow for the enemy. You get what I'm
Is
saying?
that how it worked before? It gave damage to everybody in it?
Any person in the ice got the damage buff.
Well, your teammates.
Yeah, your teammates.
Go watch Windows video. He'll tell you, stand in my ice and it gives you extra damage. Stand in my ice, it gives you extra damage.
I scream that shit all the time because people don't
realize
it, bro.
we're doing Raptor or we're doing...
Bro. I would pop the ice in Raptor and just yell at my teammates, stand in the fucking ice so we can melt this shit. Just because it did it, but now it's only physical power. Yeah. So that's a big nerf in team fights too.
I think that's a lot of the way they made the changes because the mages were getting a big benefit with that.
See, and I'm fine with that. I just wish they would have compensated a little bit because, like, if you actually do, like, you can do the math on it. I'm fucking lazy, but you can do the math on it, and 15%.
This is where I'm the bronzer and you guys are the masters here because to me, 15% increased damage. Is meaning it allows you to do it basically physical or magic, right? It gives you bits, both damages are included, but now it says 15 increased physical power. I'm thinking that's to say that's your physical damage. But not magical damage.
Window, you're in the game, right? You can pull up something for me.
Yep, do it.
Okay, pull up Grux's abilities. Like, just go to Grux and pull up his abilities.
There.
So if you look at the way that the abilities work, you have a flat damage value that the ability will do, and you have a scaling damage that the ability will do. So 15% damage would take both of those numbers as a total number,
the total
and then
output, and then
it would
15.
take everything, and it would give 15. Now it's only
doing the power.
Now it's only doing the orange. So it is overall less damage. And again, the thing is I get why they did it. I actually think it's a good change. Yeah, I actually think it's a good change. I just wish they would have given like a bump to the
little more. Okay, because you're losing the flat.
Because we're losing a little bit of damage.
It's only giving you the scaling. It's not giving you the flat. Got you. Okay, that's where I didn't understand. I read that as like, okay, it's just taking the magic out of it. Yeah. Okay. Nope. There we go. I love learning something new. Okay. Liberator. Liberator is also receiving some compensation with a little extra power and a bump of its lifesteal to help it maintain its identity as the sustained base crest after the loss of critical strike chance. Physical power increased from 10 to 15, lifesteal increased from 5% to 8%, critical strike chance removed. Ortus has sadly been very underutilized. So as we open up options for ADC, we're shifting this crest into a new scaling multi-kill based crest for both ADCs and assassins to dip into. Limit Breaker active rework 2. Active is Limit Breaker. Upon activation, gain 20% movement speed and 10% increased physical power for 6 seconds. Takedowns within the duration of permanently grant 3 physical power and refresh the duration. It's a 90-second cooldown. All right.
I forgot
refresh
about this.
The duration. What's the refresh the duration?
The 6-second duration.
All right. So I have 6 seconds that I have my
I'm getting a
20 for.
You're faster and you have more power for 6 seconds.
For 6 seconds. All right.
And if I get a kill, it resets.
It's going to give me another 6 seconds, and of 20%. Of 20% and 10% increase, right?
Yep. And you got 3 permanent power. And
you're getting 3 more power. So if you get 2 kills within 6 seconds and another kill within 6 seconds, you now got 6 physical power, and that 20% and 10% keeps moving on. So if you basically just do a penta within 6 times 5, 30 seconds, you've just increased yourself.
This will help you get the penta for damn sure.
Right. This is the one that I did want to see carries run. Like I want to see what this really looks like, because the thing is like you're definitely not taking a cleanse if you have this, and you're not taking that skip step like oh shit, let me get the fuck out of the way real quick. Yeah, the dash. I can never remember the name of that crest.
Pacifier.
We just talked
Pacify. Thank you. Yeah, I can. So, but the trade-off is that like carries are easily the ones that are going to benefit the most from this, right? Like I think an assassin can benefit from this too, but like putting yourself on like a tight window kind of sucks.
Well, be mindful. Some carries will benefit more. Murdock might not benefit too much from this because you got to deal damage or kill enemy minions or heroes with an ability. So unless you're
Ortus and snipe someone across the map,
bro, that's what I'm saying. Or you're, I guess you really
that person
could.
Has to be in low enough to kill that person, and then you got to land that snipe. That's not the easiest thing to do.
Even just to pop Ortus and shoot across the map.
I killed a sparrow today, at half health with a Murdock ultimate.
Damn.
Because I had Vanquisher. It killed her.
I really think that Ortus on ADCs is like a thing that I'm hoping we see more of, because like
it's very good.
Yeah, I'm saying I hope we see more of it because I haven't run into it. I didn't play as much today, but
the move speed I think is the only thing that I would tone down.
I'm definitely gonna give it a try now.
The snowball is fine. I don't care about the snowball, but
no cleanse is a risk though. Like at least with Rev, you can get out.
You can run away from everyone. You're I cannot explain how much faster you are than everyone else. Yes.
I think
that is 20% movement speed. That's higher than any other.
Tell me what else in this game gives you
20%,
bro. Murdock's E gives you like 8%.
Bro, any boot in any MOBA ever, it doesn't even give you close to 20%.
No.
Bro.
20, it's a lot, okay?
So here's the thing.
See a carry zoom down the lane at you, and you know they popped Ortus.
And then combine it with Sparrow's ult with the extra movement speed.
See, I'm thinking this is all cool, but the question is this broken? Like, is this busted?
Well, it's
because I don't know. Like,
obviously, the kind of answer is like, just don't let them kill you and get going forehead, right? Like, if they don't get stacks, why is this good? But it's 6 seconds of 10% bonus power. Like, that's a lot of extra power to have for 6 seconds, whether or not you kill someone. Plus,
and somebody would have to be extreme,
so you can chase somebody down.
And somebody would have to be extremely efficient. Extremely efficient to be able to get 10 kills and stack 30 power. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be able to do that, it'll be rough, but somebody would do it.
Is a pure bonus to how good the active is. I think the power stack is a pure bonus.
Right.
It's just a reward.
Yeah,
from
you can take
the OP
that.
active,
You can take that power, that 3 physical power stacking. You could take that out of there, and that
it's
item
still
is good.
10% bonus power for 6 seconds. Even without the movement speed, 10% bonus power for 6 seconds is a lot. On carries where you're building full damage, obviously if you're building Rampage Jungle with Overlord as your only damage item, this doesn't look as good. But carries building full damage, you throw a Demon Edge on top of that, this thing is giving you a crazy amount of power.
Mm-hmm. Bro, what do you mean? I can totally see somebody like Krashy also just be like, hey, I can't build too many damage items because the way I am. Build Ortus, now he's slowly getting power.
They won't run away from you, bro.
I mean, it's definitely something I've considered. Like, I want to try it on certain junglers. I just haven't done it yet.
The downside is assists don't work. So the downside has to be kills.
It has to be kills. No, does it say?
See, that's tough, man.
No,
it
says takedowns.
Yeah.
It says takedowns and
does
other items.
Takedowns?
It does say
says takedowns within duration grant 3 power.
God, that's so strong.
So that would be assist as well.
Okay, I don't think it was giving the stacks on assists today, at least. And I could check a VOD, but I don't think it was.
Next time, I guess one of us is gonna have to literally just go in and be like 220. Okay, let's go.
When Countess came out and she would get the stacks off of takedowns, like the takedowns were counted as assists as well. They explained that. So
I'm just saying in game, I don't think.
Yeah, so I would think
that's how it was working.
I think it would be bugged in that situation. That would be a bug there. We'll see that next
or it's miswritten
bug fix or miswritten, and that would be a bug fix as well. Fix the write up on this. So kills within the duration permanently grant you 3 physical, or it's going to be like, hey, it's going to work with assist as well. So, all right, on to the one that this is how I make Windu happy, because I give him a pacifier. We're compensating pacifier with a small physical power bump to bring it on par with other crests after removing the critical strike chance. Physical power increased from 15 to 20. Critical strike chance is removed. Reclamation reworked from malediction. Now, not only is it working again, but now it's working. With added haste, we're making these options a little more appealing for heroes like Muriel who need haste fast. Physical armor decreased from 20 to 12, adding 10 ability haste. New purify active purify. It's like a cat. Active purify, cleanse, and heal yourself and nearby allied heroes for 150 health over 3 seconds. 150 second cooldown. All right. Silentium. Like Reclamation, losing 20 haste by not going for Tranquility was just too detrimental to most support heroes. So we're shifting some power into a little haste here too. Magical armor decreased from 18 to 10, added 10 ability haste.
Had a lot of ability haste across the board being added.
I was going to bring that up because somebody in chat, and I can't remember the name. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting who it was.
SG.
SG, yep. Asked, do we think that there's too much haste in the game now with the way they went through and added a lot of haste? What are you guys' thoughts on haste?
I think they just nerf Muriel just to add more haste. And then, which kind of puts her right back where she was at. Like, you're casting about similar now.
I need to sit on that question because, like, I've never really thought of it as a problem, but, like, it could be if I think about it.
You never seen a Muriel that's just cast a little bit too consistently? And be like, fuck, bro. This bitch don't run out of shields.
Ever since she got buffed, I just assumed like she's just a menace, and I never really I don't know. It's so many things to me, but just like haste in general, like adding a ton of haste like to everybody, it's like, do I think that's a problem? I don't think it's a problem, but might be something to look at in the future. Maybe there's too much haste in the game.
I had somebody ask me, what items are we gonna build now to counter a Muriel shield or to counter shields in the game? We have anti-heal, but no counter to shields right now. I think
that's the point?
But you think so? Like, you think, because he was kind of running, and granted they fixed her, so they brought down the shields, but that's a small change that they did. Her shields are going to be nutty, and there's no direct item to help count. Even with Breach in the game, he was still fucking nutty, bro. Like,
keep
now,
in mind, carries are getting substantially better, in my opinion. So, like, those shields are going to get shredded.
I just don't see it as like a problem much right now. Like, I think she's really, really strong, but the trade-off from like running her over, say, Richter, is like frontliney tankiness. So, like, her shields are nuts, but there's a fuck ton of damage in the game. Like, I never feel like late game, like a carry can't just rip everything. So carries are just like how you win late game with like good setup from their team.
Or just land that fourth shot on the Muriel shield. You're welcome.
No, I don't know. It's interesting because I actually like, there's not a lot of things that stand out as like problematic to me. Like, I think like most shit feels good right now. I feel like overall balance feels pretty good of heroes with outliers. I feel like overall balance of items feels pretty good with outliers. And then it's like that, like, that's what you look at, right? Like, you look at the outliers and like, how can you bring them down or bring them up a little bit? But so far, like, there's really nothing that's standing out too far for me. That's like, this is the big broken thing yet anyways.
Besides the Countess teleport?
Countess teleport? I mean, her teleport's a little annoying, but I don't even know. I don't know. My opinion on Countess is weird too. Like, she's super strong, but like, it doesn't feel like she's the only mage or like the only mid or the only whatever that can be played. So mages feel pretty like consistent across the board. Like, tanks are feeling like decent to me across the board. Like, fighters feel pretty decent, and then there's like Feng Mao and Kallari. Like, those are like the outliers to me personally at the moment.
Just had to say it.
I had to. I'm sorry. Listen, you know what?
Have you played Kallari this patch though? I think Kallari's on top of it actually.
Really? She feels useless.
Not on top, but I mean, like, she's considerably better.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like how much considerably better? Because like I played
crit.
Versus,
just go crit.
What, like auto attack crit?
Vanquisher's OP, bro. Vanquisher and Demolisher is 50% pen, or it's 25% pen, 50% crit, instant big auto, and a 7% execute range. Bro, those two items are nuts together.
Out of the two matches that I was in, there was a Kallari with Terminus and Imperator as her first two items, and this bitch was 11-0. She was swinging slow, but she was chunking with that 50%, bro.
This is the problem with Kallari. She is like, I'm going to use a word that I hate that I'm going to use because I just can't think of anything better in the moment. She's like objectively like not that good competitively, but there will always be a Kallari player that's going to drop like 19 kills with her in a pub. And so like the anecdotal evidence for Kallari, it almost always leans in her favor. Like, oh my God, she's so strong. And you're always going to have someone that's like, oh, this character's fucking bullshit. She came out of stealth and beat the shit out of me. And I'm going to die to her every now and then. But like the character just doesn't like do dick in a team fight, and it's so hard to like get into the back line and to find the target you want when you're playing against people that like know what the fuck they're doing, and like they're peeling for each other and they're communicating. And so like when I look at the hero, I'm just like, I could play Kallari and try to snowball a game and win early and then scale into late game and be useless, or I could just play Grux and I can just like be consistently strong like the whole game. Like I can run in, I'm gonna gank, I'm gonna do fine, I can team fight, I can run in, I can do fine. And that's it's the plight of assassin balancing. Like assassin balancing, I think, is like historically just so damn hard. I don't know how you balance assassins, because they're either really, really strong or they're just like moderately okay.
I think that's where crit comes in. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't like crit Kallari any more than the next guy. But I think that if you go crit and you're able to two-shot people, the goal is that they can't turn around fast enough to like peel you, right? Like you're guaranteed one kill. I think that's the part of this like crit build that I am liking.
Well, I used to play her auto attack anyways. Like, I mean, I've played her like Assassin Crest and like Marksman Crest. I've played her like Sky Splitter. And then I've played her like Execute with like Malady build. So I'll keep fucking around with her to see. But every time I touch the character, I just think to myself like, yeah, like there's no way I would play this in scrims or in tourneys. So
I will say that I agree with you on the assassin thing, but I think in my opinion, from what I've been looking at, I think it's a map issue, not an assassin issue. Mm-hmm. The map is the way the map is windy forces you to be too grouped up with your team. And so there's no backline, middle of the fight. It's backline, front line, the fight. You know, there is no backline. So assassins can't exist in a backline because you're 2 feet away from a support who's gonna peel you. Like they don't have to. A support doesn't have to position well to peel you. They're just in the front of the fight, but they are also in peel range.
The most success I've had in like coordinated team fights with like good players on Kallari comes at a weird gamble, and it's like I know how to make it work. I just hate the gamble. So what I do is I stay the fuck out of the fight for a really long time, and I basically watch the fight happen, and then I go in, and it's like that gamble has crazy payoff because like I might catch the support or like the carry while the support is already just eyes locked in doing some other shit, and then I kill him. Or I might just watch my whole team die before I make it happen. And it's like that gamble sucks. It sucks so bad because you're like, okay, I got around a ward. Like I know I'm good. I'm coming in. Like I need 4 seconds, and then poof, your whole team is dead. And you're like, fuck. Like, but if you stand in the fight with them like a normal fighter would, then you're not gonna do anything. And
I think
it's so tough.
I think that goes back to the TTK. Like the time to kill it's very short, and if we had the time to kill to be longer, you could then make that assessment. You could understand things. That could actually be a net buff to Kallari if we had a higher time to kill.
I've been a fence sitter on this issue for a while, but I'm leaning. I think the TTK is too fast. So I don't see
if you make it slower, assassins get worse.
Well, they get, but that's the thing. It's like you make it slower for non-assassins and hope that their burst survives, because like their burst is really high and they can one-shot a target if they get the window. The problem is they don't usually get the window. So if you make the TTK longer, then it might extend the normal fighting long enough to give the character a window to do the burst that they have that can one-shot somebody. So like that's like the vein of thought, I guess, or like that's how I'm kind of thinking of it. But if the TTK is like truly that much longer, like across the board, like let's say the burst is negligible, then it's like, yeah, you're gonna pop out, you're gonna half health someone with a rotation, and then they're just gonna kill you. That it has the potential to make them worse. I hope that would not be the effect, but it's hard to say.
So while we're talking about Kallari, there was another comment in the last video on YouTube comments, and they were talking about wards, and then they were talking about the Kallari being able to be seen, right? Or not the ward, the D ward, the sentry, right? The enemy can see that, and how the enemy can see the ring on Kallari when she's invisible, right? Because she's not invisible in this game, she's camouflaged, right? When you're within a certain distance. They were talking about basically taking away that ring. One, take away the little fucking siren that the people can see on the sentry that we were talking about last Predcast. And then, but the ring, the little AOE ring, like they're saying that you shouldn't be able to see that on Kallari. Like you seeing it, you understanding where that ring is at as Kallari is fine, but the enemy seeing that ring is just like a huge like, oh my god, hey, turn around, she's right behind you, right? Now camouflage, like if she's camouflaged, you could turn and you could see her, like it's slightly invisible, a little opacity, whatever, fine, but like you could see her because she's in range, but you don't have a little ring to say that hey, she's here. It's like a little like alarm right there.
There's a sound cue as well
when she's in that area.
When you enter that ring, there's a sound cue that's like a whoosh.
Yeah, it's like she's breathing down your neck.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
the sound cue I'm okay with. The sound cue I'm okay with, but that ring, I hate Kallari. All right, I take her out of the game. I'm okay with this. All right, but like in this situation, I can kind of understand the enemy seeing that ring. Like that's not like I think of it like when I think camouflage, I think of a hunter, right? There's not like a hunter sitting in a stand. There's not a ring, in the around the tree that the deer's like walking. Like, wait a minute, oh, there's a hunter here. I can see this ring. No, there's camouflage. Like you literally have to put eyes on that on the person to be able like, okay, wait a minute, there's somebody right there, right? And I kind of feel like that would have to be the same situation. I think again, the ring, Kallari should be able to see the ring because she should know, hey, I'm now in range where they can see me.
There's going to be a little bubble that pops up with the Kallari face on your window anyway.
Even when she's in Viz too?
Well, I'm saying when she's in radius, like if anybody's in radius of you, you see a little...
Does that bubble still pop up when she's in Viz? Is what I'm asking.
I think it only triggers the moment you have the visibility within range. So... Right.
So if she's invisible or camouflage, I don't know if the little avatar bubble pops up. That's why I don't know. I haven't paid that close attention. That's something I would want to know the answer to that question.
I feel like there's something crashing.
So I'm trying to remember when I've been ganked by a Kallari. Like I played Bellica today and I played against Professor Loki.
Says it does.
And if like I had my back to the Kallari, like she was coming in behind me, and I see the ring like enter my foot like area before I even know she's there. It's like the first thing I see is the ring, then I hear her, then I see her. Well, and so like
it is visually like it draws your attention.
Yeah, right. So I wouldn't mind if that ring just like didn't exist at all. Like you hear her, she's on you. Oh shit, she's here, because that's like her thing.
Yeah. So and if she's camouflaged and she's moving, you should hear her. So that little noise of getting in that range, that's fine. I'm okay with that noise being there. That ring that saved me on the first when we did the close test or whatever, the partner close test. I was a Drongo pushing a lane, and Stark came over as Kallari, and all of a sudden I just saw this like purple ring just come floating on the floor. I'm like, oh crap! Turn, and I just started shooting Kallari, and I ended up getting the kill. Kallari should have surprised a Drongo by himself and should have got the win. But because I was able to react fast enough, there was no surprise in that situation.
Yeah, her stealth radius, it's very much so dictated by the ring and not by her body. And if you're, especially because like, of course, every assassin's going to prefer to come in from behind. So there are times where I'm ganking a lane and I'm like, my actual
ass
window.
Is the word assassin.
Coming from the ass. I'm coming for the booty. Yeah, but no, seriously, yeah, you're right. I hadn't really thought about it that way, but that would be like a nice little quality of life touch up on her without having to like actually buff the hero per se.
No, Medkit, I'm not talking about true invis. I'm talking camouflage is fine. You can keep the camouflage, but don't give me the radius of where that's at. Don't let me know what it is. Be
visible, just no purple ring that's bright as fuck on the floor.
If she's right in front of me, I'll see her because it's camouflage and I can see her moving, right? But if she's coming from behind me, I should only hear her, I shouldn't see a ring until I turn around, and then I turn and I have to find her. I know she's there because I heard her, so now I got to find where she's at. That's the way a camouflage should work. Not true invis. I don't like true invis. True invis was what Fault had, and I couldn't stand her. I wanted to get rid of her because she was able.
Fault
she was
also was like connected. If you both had Kallaris and you both invis, you could see the other Kallari.
That was weird too. But yeah, but that was one way to counter that is to have a Kallari. And if you didn't have a Kallari, then it's like, well, fuck.
I don't mind true invis. It's just like in Smite, everything is all invises are true invis. You know, there's no detect radius, but there's also so much more mobility in Smite that like if I get jumped on by a Loki, I can dash away like on 80% of the characters, right? And the ones that don't, I have a kit that I can dump on my feet, right? And Loki has follow up, right? Loki can teleport after, but like it's I don't know. Like without the mobility in this game, I think you do need that tiny bit of reaction window when she pops up, but before she actually starts destroying you.
All right, we're getting a little up there. So let's move here towards the end of everything. So really quick, as usual, let's go in the same order that we introduce ourselves. Tell people what you're all about. Where can they find you? What are you up to project-wise, etc.? And give a little feedback either to the devs or the community, whichever you prefer. Take it away, Pinzo.
You guys can find me on youtube.com/Pinzo, twitch.tv/Pinzo, all that kind of stuff. I stream like Monday through Saturday in the middle of the day. So if you guys are middle of the day gamers or like bored work gamers, you know, I'm here for you. That's what I do. I'm always one leaderboard spot above Krashy. Doesn't matter. That's my alt account. If it's not Pinzo, trust me, it's my alt account. Other than that, I don't know. I upload every day on YouTube. So if you guys want YouTube content, go do that. I upload in the mornings. As far as feedback goes, my feedback would probably be to the devs. I don't know. I'd probably say like, I don't know, make the crit items different chances, dog. It's I think you're making the game harder to balance for yourself, honestly. That's my feedback.
All right.
Very cool. Same shit here, right? Like, I don't know, YouTube, Twitter,
YouTube, Pinzo,
Twitch.
Pinzo.
It's all Pinzo, /Pinzo. You can find me. I'm usually lying to y'all about Fang Mao. No.
Yeah. Checks out so far.
No, actually, so it's funny. I just today ended my longest solo queue winning streak, and I was sad. I had a 13 game win streak. I was keeping track of it, and I lost today. So,
were you playing Fang Mao when you lost?
I swear to God, I might have, because I did play him today, but I don't want to even. I'm not even going to go there because I don't remember, so probably not. But I was pretty high up on the leaderboard last week. I was pretty happy about that. I think I'll do good this week because they come out on Wednesdays, right? I think it comes out tomorrow
morning.
So yeah, I'm hoping for top 25, but I don't know if I've grinded enough today. So we'll see. But yeah, just making videos. TOS, we're in we have like a month until the next event, so we're not really rushing to put shit together because we have to make a roster change anyways. So we're like looking for our 5th and slow rolling. So we'll be scrimming around a little bit and doing tournament stuff here a little bit there.
I guess I'll be your offlaner. That's all right.
That's the thing. We may not even get an offlaner. We might find we might
just run dual ADCs.
No, it's weird. We might move our offlaner to carry and then find an offlaner, or we might look for a carry. And I think that's what we're looking at right now, but we're not really in a hurry. So I don't know. We had like a little.
Ironically, that's what I run.
Yeah.
He said,
I'm just not good. I can fit both those, whatever way you want to go. No, I'm just not good enough. I get it. I am the team of shitter in that situation, and your TOS, that's what it would be.
You fit one of our acronyms. Got it.
Only one of the acronyms. That's why I can't apply. Mm-hmm. I don't fit all the acronyms. Sundown, thank you for that raid. Hopefully your stream was great.
Oh yeah.
For myself, thanks all for hanging out. All right, this was a blast. Pinzo, thanks for coming in. I know I hit you up kind of last minute on it, but I know you love being here, so I appreciate you coming. It's always a blast having your input. Other than that, I love the fact that I learned multiple things today. Like I learned that YouTube tan is Natty. That's awesome. I didn't even know that. That's great. So Natty, welcome. I love to have you here. And when it comes down to it, I'm just keep up the work for the devs. I love it. I know there's going to be some changes that are going to come with this. Like, not everything in this patch is going to be perfect, right? There was a lot of changes, and now we got to play the game. We got to give them the data points to help them figure out what changes need to get reverted back, or what needs to be changed further, or what it was good. So let's play the game. Let's have a good time, and I hope you all enjoyed the video. On to you, Windu.
Spicy. And so for me, I basically just be on the lookout for another one of those Creator Unite videos that we do here and there. Got one coming up here soon. Besides that, you guys can find me literally on all social media at Windu the Mace. I typically, if you want a response from me, or you want to just talk shit or whatever it may be,
you got to text him on his phone number.
No, Twitter's the way to go. You text me, bro, at your own cost. You got a better chance of me replying in Discord, bro. But and yeah, honestly, so my feedback would just be to the community. Like, don't get overwhelmed. Keep trying shit. Try to break the fucking game as much as possible. And if you manage to get some game busting shit on clip, put that shit on Twitter, bro. Tag us in it. Let us see that shit. I want to see that shit. I'll show it up. We'll show it here on the Predcast just to see what crazy shit y'all were able to come up with. But we appreciate
and those clips help the devs, so we can push those forward to the devs. The devs can see it and see what's going on. They can fix it. So yeah, definitely, I'm all about that. Let's make a funny little segment for the podcast, and we'll push it to the devs. Yeah, hit us with those clips. Send it to me in the Discord, because I'll react to it before Windu. Windu will get to it like 3 Predcasts later. So send it to me on Discord.
Get me the fuck out. Anyway, but
you know it's true though.
Just tag us on Twitter, bro. We're all available on Twitter. But as always, guys, thank you so much for joining. We really do appreciate it. We're already on episode 17. We're on our way to 1,000 easy. So it's gonna be a fun ride, and it's gonna be a fun interaction, like back and forth with all these. I'm surprised that Pinzo and Krashy were so nice to each other, to be real with you. But we're
he was fairly nice to Fang Mao. I'll let him go for another week.
If I can, bro. But yeah, guys, as always, we'll catch you on the next one. Much love. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.